Salute, and welcome. Welcome back over to the Black Ocean. You're now swimming, getting deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And yes, family, we have to talk about this topic here, this subject, because as you've seen of late, there's been a lot of things going on, okay, over here in America concerning Black America in particular. And this is one of the things that, I've seen a lot of people talking about in the different mores and norms of these social media spaces. And I often get asked about it myself. So I thought that I would take the opportunity to address this evening here. And we're going to cover it in a fair light. We're going to examine some of the things that would hinder us from being on code or having global Black unity. We're going to examine a lot of that here tonight, family. I think it's going to be very informative for everybody that joins us over here. I hope all of you are doing very well. I hope everybody's having a productive evening so far. And we're actually going to look at several different perspectives. We're going to look at some pros. We're going to look at some cons. We're going to be fair with everything that we analyze. And we're going to do it in an honest way because, see, family, one of the things about this particular subject, we talk about global Black unity, okay? We can't be dishonest in discussing the things that are hindering us from actually having this in some semblance or form. We got to be honest about everything across the board, okay, when we're talking about this. And the other thing about it is this, okay? This is something I want everybody, no matter what lineage you're a part of, to understand. You're going to have to realize that there's never been a point in time in history where all Black people around the world have been on the exact same page. I mean, until you can argue, there's never been a time in history when any group of people have all been on the exact same page, okay, and remain that way for any length of time. Okay, you will have numbers or pockets within a culture or a society that achieve this with a particular goal or an ideology or agenda. Okay, so that's one thing. Because, see, here's another thing that I want us to remember when it comes to us in our community. If you have a particular brother or sister that you have an ideological disagreement with, or you don't quite see eye to eye, that's fine. Okay, you set that part to the side. Let's just say you agree on 60% of some things and you might disagree on 40%. I think we will have come into our own as a people, wherever we are, when we learn to set aside that 40%. As long as it's nothing extremely detrimental, let's work on the 60%. We'll come back to that 40 later, or we can only come together on certain things that we do agree on, get that done. Then everybody goes their separate ways when it comes to something else. Okay, because other groups have mastered this. Okay, what I'm saying is nothing new for other groups. They have their own issues and problems within and between their people. Okay, we see it on display. The only thing is, if they have a greater purpose or a greater common denominator at work, they make sure that nobody derails that. Okay, they all have a better ability to recognize and say, hey, okay, whatever our petty differences are, we better put this to the side for now. So I just wanted to get that part out and clear. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to greet some of you, my esteemed guests that I see join us over here tonight. Let me see, make sure I got the chat pulled up. All right, let's see. I see Emmanuel Briggs in the house. Welcome, good brother. Jesse Paris, I see you in here. Salute to you. Seven Skills, what's happening? Josh Norris. Oh, my brother has a question here. He says, salute, big bro GBS. I'm 33 and considering joining Army Infantry. What's your advice, big bro? I'm going to be completely honest with you, okay? As a combat veteran, I cannot in good conscience tell you to join any branch of the service. But I'm not going to discourage you. I'm going to ask you this, though, brother. Brother Josh Norris, what's your skill set? Have you considered getting a trade? You know what I'm saying? And expanding your skill set in that area, maybe IT, get your CDL. I mean, something like that. I mean, I'm not going to discourage you, but I can't just give you just say, hey, yeah, go do that. Nah, because I know too much about the anti-Black racism in the military. That's a whole nother broadcast for another day. Again, I'm not going to tell you what not to do, but I would strongly advise you to looking into getting a trade or something else before you do that. But my brother, you're going to have to make that decision for yourself. If you feel that that's the best thing for you in your life, hey, man, God bless you doing it. Let's see. I see the Prince paraphernalia here. What's going on, brothers? CRUA Ali, what's good? A Goddess Navi. I see Sincerely Yours. Welcome, good sister. Jason Ferreira. Good brother Torian Rain Reloaded. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to that brother's channel. He does excellent journalistic work. I see Sister Tam Chan. Okay, salute. My lieutenant in here. Welcome to everybody that's joining us and everybody that will be joining us, okay? So, family, what we're going to do tonight, to start off here, we're going to examine a couple of statements. Now, I know when y'all see the person, y'all going to be like, oh, Lord, here you go again. But I encourage you to listen to what he's saying with an open mind. We're gonna critique it because anything out there in the public sphere is fair to be critiqued. We're going to do it in a fair way. So I'm going to play this clip that was sent to me by the brother, the doctor, Umar Johnson. Okay, controversial brother, I know, but I say this to any and everyone. Controversial as he may be on certain things, he is actually a very brilliant man. And if you are having trouble as a parent with a child in the public school system, that would be my number one recommendation for you to get in contact with. That brother knows what he's talking about. He's a certified clinical psychologist and has several years in the education system. He can help get you on the right track, arm you with a lot of information that you may not know about. So regardless of anything else, hey, the brother is good at what he does regarding helping people deal with this public school system if they got children in it, okay? So I'm going to play this clip, and he was talking to this brother here, making some statements, and we're going to analyze a couple of things that he said, and we're going to come back and break this down with a little bit of commentary here.
Blatant negative stereotype that some Africans or Caribbeans or other black people feel towards Black Americans.
Well, the white man's original tactic of divide and conquer, separate and rule is still his most cherished weapon against African people. You see, understandably, when people look at America up until now being, quote unquote, the most powerful country in the world, if you want to get down with the most powerful country in the world, you're going to have to despise who they despise. And since America has done such a great job despising African people, anybody who wants to come to this country, even if they are African, are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours, right? That doesn't make what they do right. But we have to look at the fact that we as African people in America haven't done a whole lot collectively to make ourselves the power base we should be for all African people. With our education, with our income, being the richest group of African people in the world in terms of take-home pay, we should be the power base for African people throughout the world. Y'all need institutions, we're going to fund them. Y'all have a problem with your water, we're going to fund that. You understand me? You got a medical crisis, we're going to take care of that. We have the resources, we got the personnel, we got the expertise, we got the money. We should be the power base. So when an African comes to America from outside of this country, they say, well, wait a minute now. If I align myself with the African American, what is in that for me? Because I don't even see the African American doing anything for themselves on a collective basis.
All right. I already know a lot of y'all like, oh boy, man, what is he talking about? I know. So let's examine a little bit of what the good doctor said here. And salute to my good brother Kid Gravity Beyond. I see Red Dragon coming in. Mac Maroon, salute to you all. But here's what we're gonna do, family. Okay, you heard what he said. First and foremost, this is one critique that I have for the good brother Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay. And again, like I said, just because you have an ideological difference of opinion with someone doesn't mean that that's the enemy. Okay, as long as they're not trying to hurt our community in any type of way. And I think this brother means well in everything that he does, regardless if he goes about it in certain types of ways that people may critique him for. But we're going to critique his commentary here. Okay, so first let's deal with this. Dr. Johnson, and I say this to everybody, when it comes to what you're addressing us as, okay, over here in America, some people are comfortable saying African American, just African, period. Those of us who are embracing our lineage to this land here say foundational Black American. Some say other different terms. This is the one thing that we need to do. No matter what terminology you go with, respect everybody else's individual decision on going by what they want to be addressed as, okay? That's number one, okay? Get that part squared away, and then let's deal with what he was saying as far as the white man's trick of divide and rule being effective. That's very true. If you look up Memorandum 46, I covered that here on this very channel. broke that down and showed you everything about it. In fact, look up the broadcast Ways to Reverse Social Engineering, okay, on this channel if you want a further breakdown of that. Or you can go and search Memorandum 46 out for yourself. A lot of that's in there, we see it playing out today, okay? So now, we know that. We see that, okay? Here's the problem. The reason why that tactic of divide and rule has been so successful with the dominant society is this. You can have people that look like you, but if you don't have people that are on code with you against that system of white supremacy, and then there are others that look like us, okay, whether they're our lineage or outside our lineage, denying that that system of white supremacy exists, you cannot effectively combat that. There's no way to do it. You see, it's common sense. If there's a problem in front of you, okay, and it's not going anywhere, a problem requires a solution. You cannot look the other way from that problem. If you ignore the problem, it's only going to get worse or bigger. And if you concede to that problem, or in this case, an adversary in the dominant society, the white supremacist dominant society, that cannot be reasoned with, that cannot be appeased, that looks at you as less than human, then what you're doing is you've basically submitted defeat and you're going to be exterminated. And unfortunately, those who are off code, whether they are of our lineage as foundational Black Americans or outside of our lineage, they don't seem to understand that there is no way to appease the white supremacists and join them and come out winning. We've been taught very well by the likes of Neely Fuller Jr., Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, many, many others. Hell, Patrice Lumumba, okay, before they killed him. Okay, PLO Lumumba, who is a professor that's still living over there on the continent today. Joshua Mapanga. Okay, you can quote many others that will show you that when you join with white supremacy, it's going to break its tools. And many have said that in various different forms, okay? Problem is, when you have some amongst us that look like us that refuse to understand that or actually go against that system, then it becomes much harder to produce justice as a people, because you have one group of people over here trying to do the right thing, trying to empower ourselves economically, work together. Then you have the other side that says, hey, the system is too big to beat it. I'm afraid of it. I'll just go over here and be a lapdog to it. You can't get anywhere when you can't join that together. That's where your ideological differences take you at a crossroads. Okay, one's going to go this way, one's going to go the other way. So that's a fact that I think that the good doctor must come to understand. And see, you cannot force the African label on people, because see, this is what we want our brothers and sisters to understand as foundational Black Americans. We love y'all in the global Black diaspora. We do. But we are not going to be forced to ignore our heritage here, okay? This is our homeland, okay? Yes, we acknowledge that we have African genetic ancestry. We do. None of us with sense are denying that. We don't deny the small percentage of us that came here on the slave trade. However, the greater majority of our people were already here. And since that, our culture here was stripped from us. We formed a new culture, which is why we are not culturally African. Say that one more time for a lot of people that seem to struggle with that. We are not culturally African, okay? Genetically, yes, we know what our genetic heritage is, but we are not culturally African, which is why, hey, we notice the differences between our people, and there's nothing wrong with that. We encourage everybody to embrace their differences. The problem is when we embrace our unique lineage, that's an issue. See, let's look at something simple. You don't hear Jamaican saying, I'm African Jamaican. You don't hear Haitian saying, I'm African Haitian. They just say, hey, I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican. Okay, so on and so forth. All right. Now, all of a sudden that we're getting codified with our culture and appreciating who we are on our land, everybody has an issue with it. So if you are a member of the global Black diaspora, that's one of the things you're going to have to accept. You cannot have unity with the people that refuses to respect you, okay? And then you have the tether class that comes over here and outright undermines us, okay? That Austin Chingay guy that was talking about he's going to cancel Black History Month if he became the governor up there. Which state was that? I want to say, was he Michigan or somewhere? I remember one of those states up there. Okay, you come over here talking crazy like that, then you see other tellers that are outright siding with white supremacists. Okay, so you can't unify with that. And I think Dr. Johnson is going to have an honest conversation with those, in the Pan-African movement that refuse to address that. Because, see, we got to be honest about this, right? We cannot act as if when we see a problem that it doesn't exist. That's the equivalent of somebody coming into your house and taking a dump on your carpet, and then you just act like you don't see it. Okay, you can't do that. And I mean, that's noticeable. It's there. We got to clean that up. All right. We have to. So just to make other cultures feel comfortable, we can't ignore the problems. And that's on either end of the equation. Okay. Either end. I don't care where the problems are. On either end, we have to acknowledge them in good faith and lead with respect. When you lead anything with respect, that's when you can get to the bottom of things. Okay. The minute that you take respect out of the equation, everything else goes out the window. So now let's move on to what he was saying as far as us being the economic power base of like the global black world. Okay, he spoke nothing but facts as far as our income here, putting us in a more economically advantageous position than most people as far as like the workforce and jobs, businesses, stuff like that. Okay. However, here's the problem. And Pan-African people, even if you're over here in this chat, I want you to hear me very clearly because I'm going to speak fairly over here. And I want you to listen to what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with the concept of Pan-Africanism. It's great. It is exactly something that we need. The problem is it can't be one-sided, okay? It can't be, because you heard the good doctor speaking, talking about what we supposed to do, what we're going to do for them. If he said that, if those come over here, those from the global black diaspora come over here and they say, well, hey, what's in it for me? You're already coming to the table wrong. No. That's not the proper way to form a respectful and productive partnership. What you should do is say, okay, I'm coming over here with my particular skill set. Let me combine what I have with you, and then we can build something together that benefits both people. See, when you think that way, now you can get something going internationally that will benefit everybody in the global black diaspora. But see, you can't just have one side saying, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Okay, the first thing, if we're going to go there, good doctor, and I'm saying this with respect, we've already given you a benefit. We fought for you to have the very right to come over here. See, that's something we got to stop trivializing when it comes to that. If we did not fight for the right for them to have the ability to immigrate over here, they would not be able to come. That's the first thing we must acknowledge. When you get here, the good doctor was talking about what we don't have as a collective. You got to discuss that with some honesty. Take the turkey leg huts, for example. Okay, I've given that example many times. Oftentimes when we start successful black businesses, they are sabotaged over here. Okay, so now you would think that if they came over here, anybody from the global black diaspora came over and saw that, they would say, okay, I see what my foundational black American brothers and sisters are going through. They're being sabotaged. Let me approach them and say, hey, brother or sister, I'm in this particular industry too. Tell you what we'll do. Let's partner together. We can get something started over here in my homeland, and then we can franchise this out. And if you start having problems over here, hey, I got your back over here. We're going to look out for each other. See, if we had a blood in, blood out type of mindset towards one another, we could actually make this thing work. You see what I'm saying? But see, unfortunately, I'm not saying nobody thinks that way. Unfortunately, few and far in between think like what I'm talking about. Too many are thinking, okay, what can I get out of something, or how can I get over on somebody? See, that's what puts a bad taste in people's mouth when it comes to the Pan-African concept. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work in small pockets, but Dr. Johnson, and see, this is why I know the brother's been to the continent, but see, I think he needs to go over there. For those of us that have been over there and stayed for any length of time, he needs to pick an African nation and go over there and spend at least a year. Spend it just at least a year so that you can get to see the other half of the problems that you're going to have trying to push Pan-Africanism, because I got to call it like it is. Any African person that's in this chat room or listen to this recorded will tell you what I'm saying is the truth. I'm not saying it with any malice, not saying it to put anybody down. They don't practice Pan-Africanism amongst one another, and they damn sure don't do it between each of the 54 nations that's over there. Salute to my good brother King Hayes. I see you, fam. They don't, okay? So see, a lot of people that say they're Pan-African, the ironic thing is they've never taken a trip to the continent. Now, I'm not telling you everything is negative. What I'm saying is, in order to get anything going, you have to have a realistic idea of how you're going to implement that. So now, if you want to do something, you got all these good intentions. But if the people that you want to partner with saying, hey, man, I hear you, but I'm not on that. You see what I'm saying? You can't force them to do something they don't want to do. At best, the only thing you can do is find the individuals that are on code with you that want to work together. You can do that. But as far as thinking you're going to go over there and completely change the brothers and sisters over there's mindset about things, you're going to have an uphill battle with that. Okay, they've got their own way of living. You got to respect that. And most of us tend to do that when we go to other places. It's just that when people come to our homeland, they don't respect how we live and what we do. Okay, we've seen that in several instances. We're going to examine some of that here tonight. And I just wanted to touch on that, what the good doctor was saying here. I'm going to let the brother continue, and we're going to get back to breaking things down.
We have success, but it's all individual, right? There's very few institutions that we run and control independently. Let's take it to Little League. When you go for the Little League football team or the basketball team, do you go try out for the team that's losing every year? Or do you want to be on the championship team? Most children want to be on the championship team. So when Africans from the diaspora come to America, they see two teams, the black team that has lost 157 straight Super Bowls since the end of slavery, right? And the white team that seem like they still winning and doing great. I want to align myself with the white team. Now, the mistake that Africans in the diaspora are making is that if you do not link up with us, your national homeland will never be free either. See, what they do to African people anywhere, they do to African people everywhere. So if you come from Nigeria, you come from Ghana, you come from Jamaica, you come from Turks and Caicos, you don't associate with African people, you go get you a snow bunny, move up on the west side, you can do all that. But understand, your life is only as sacred as white people allow it to be. At any minute, they can turn you into a Breonna Taylor, whether you have a U.S. passport or not. You've seen it happen here in New York City years ago with the Abner Louima and Amadou Diallo cases, where the police, abused African immigrants right here in New York City. So when it comes to white people, we're all African. They know who we are. But they will use one group against the other as long as it is in their best interest. And once they're done using that group, guess what they do to that group? They destroy them too. It's no difference than looking at the black community compared to black celebrities. They used Bill Cosby as long as they could. And when they no longer needed him, they turned on him. Right. They'll use Whitney Houston as long as they could. When they no longer needed her, they murdered her. Michael Jackson, they murdered him. Prince, they murdered him. Jimi Hendrix, they murdered him. Kobe Bryant, they murdered him. You understand? So all of us are nothing but tools in the hand of white supremacy.
So now let's deal with a little bit more what the good doctor is saying here. Okay. Good brother, Dr. Umar, this is what I say to you and all my other Pan-African brothers and sisters out here. Everything that he just said, that's what needs to be addressed amongst our brothers and sisters outside of America here in the global black diaspora. Because see, we got to call this like it is. For him to say that, okay, a lot of them will come over here and they want to side with the winning team, which is the white team. Here's the problem with that. If you come to my homeland and you understand the history of colonization on the continent, and you understand what was done to you in the Caribbean, okay, as a black person, and then you come here and you say because the white team is winning, you want to join with them, I posit to you this, something is already off with your mindset. Because see, if you're going to claim to have love for your brothers and sisters, how could you ever side with the oppressors? Even if the oppressors of this land didn't directly do anything to you, their forefathers did things to you where you're from. And see, this is the importance of knowing history. This is why on my channel, I try to present as much of it as I can. And in other new black media spaces, you see, we always try to present you with history and explain the correlation from the past to present day so that you have an understanding of what we're supposed to be on code against. Okay, too often, far too often, not all, but a lot a lot of brothers and sisters will come over here because where they're from, they've idolized the dominant society, and they say, hey, if I can just get to America and just get to the UK, etc., and get up under these white folks, I got it made. Now, again, I'm not going to say all, but we see the ones that it applies to, the tether class. We make clear and intelligent distinctions over here. And see, Dr. Johnson is going to have to really start, bringing that message to them and say, listen, okay, if you coming over here with that mindset, you already starting out wrong. Because, see, we would not go to their homelands and seek to align with the oppressor class over there. See, just think about it. Let's flip the script for a minute. Because I want to make sure that what I'm saying on this broadcast tonight is plainly understood about the problem with being united with people that are not mentally on code with you against white supremacy. Think about any of us that would go to an African or Caribbean nation and, we say, hey, we're not going to link up with the Africans or the Caribbeans down there. We're going to find the Chinese or the white people, the Indians, go work against them and sabotage them and, spread propaganda against them. Now, can you imagine how we would be received or looked at if we went over there in large numbers and started doing that? They would look at us as a counsel upon their nation, and rightly so. You see what I'm saying? So if you are a brother or sister in the diaspora, and y'all always talking about divisive, we got to start looking at what's going on over here. And I know it might not apply to all of you, but you need to see how some of your people are misrepresenting you over here. The tether class, that is, okay? So now, like I said, if we went over there to your nations and conducted ourselves like these tethers do over here, you would think very ill of us, okay? And you would be well within your rights to do so. So that's why I like to break things down in a way where everybody can see and make sense. So here's one way to get around that. For any brother and sister in the diaspora, when you come over here, especially on new black media spaces, or if you're in these Twitter spaces or wherever, come in good faith and talk to brothers and sisters and see if you can get on the same page with us, ask questions about things that you don't understand. I encourage my people to do the same when talking to those in the global black diaspora. Because, see, one of my beliefs is this. Whenever black people are gathered together, online or offline, you have the potential for great power there. Now, what you use that power for could be positive or negative, okay? And see, if you see each other as family, if we see each other as family, we don't allow outsiders to influence us about us. See, one thing I would never do is let nobody in the dominant society tell me about my brothers and sisters on the continent or in the Caribbean. I'm going to go talk to them myself if I don't want to know. If I have any questions, I'm going to let them tell me that and make my own assessment. I'm going to go to their nations and have my own experiences like I have over the course of my lifetime, okay? Got friends all across the black diaspora, okay, that I consider family, all right? They're like family to me. And see, when you start allowing, let's deal with this because I got to go here. Some of them that come here, the reason they say that, hey, we were told to stay away from black Americans, this or that, okay, we watched your movies, we listened to this or that, the third, and I got to say this. Today in the modern era, 2023 and going forward, if you are a person that is saying, hey, I formed an opinion about an entire group of people based off entertainment, fictional movies, that speaks volumes about your ability to comprehend, and that is an embarrassing display of your lack of cognitive thought regarding what these people over here are like. It would be ignorant if we did that to you. For example, let's go here. If foundational black Americans only believe what they showed you on National Geographic about African nations or the BBC, and we start saying, oh, see, that's exactly what they do, and none of us actually went to your nation, tried to find that out or talk to you all, that would make us ignorant as well. See, my thing is this. No matter what lineage you come from, you must subtract ignorance from the equation. That is the opposite of intelligence. And when you're an ignorant person, you are in a depowered state, okay? It's easy to conquer an ignorant mind. I'd rather operate from a state of intelligence any day of the week that I have the opportunity. And if I find that I'm missing information that leads me to fact on something, you know what the smart thing to do is? Withhold your judgment until you get proper information. You see what I'm saying? See, this is what we're going to have to start mastering here. Okay, so now when you hear Dr. Johnson talking about the situation regarding, because I got to go back to this, as far as us building institutions and things for them. If we're going to get the building, everybody needs to be on the same accord about what this institution is going to function for. Okay? It's got to function for, see, I'm going to tell you what I would like. Let's use this example real quick. I would like to see us get to the point where we can build institutions together that help everybody black that's on the planet, no matter where you're coming from. Whether you need education, whether you need employment, you need skills training, okay, networking. I mean, whatever it is, we should be able to supply each other with it. But see, when you got people that idolize the oppressor class, no matter which lineage they come from, that's going to throw a wrench in your plans, okay? For example, let's deal with on the foundational Black American side of the game for a second. Look at Daniel Cameron, okay? Now, for those who don't know, Daniel Cameron in Kentucky, he's married to Mitch McConnell's granddaughter, all right? You saw how he conducted himself, refusing to prosecute the murderers that killed our good sister Breonna Taylor. Now, he's of my lineage, but that Negro is no good to me. He's no good to me or any other foundational Black American because he sees himself identifying more with the oppressor class, not just because he's married to Mitch McConnell's wife. See, this is the part that a lot of people overlook when it comes to these people with these white spouses. Take their white spouses out of the equation, whether it's a white man or white woman. I'm going to show you what the real problem is, because it's not just that they got with a white man or white woman. Let me show you something. In order for you to have the mindset out of millions of your own people, for you to choose somebody else, there had to be something else in you that looked down or rejects your own people in some type of way. Now, I know a lot of people can say, hey, you can't help who you fall in love with. That's true to a certain extent, but see, when you start deliberately trying to date outside your race, and on top of that, you either start disparaging your own people to appease your new spouse, or you start actively working against your people like a Daniel Cameron who is in a position of power. He's not a powerful person, but he's in a position of power. Understand the difference between the two. That's where you catch your issue at. Then let's flip it over here outside of the foundational Black American side of the game. When you see those from the tether class that run over here, they get them a Zaddy or they get them a Brad, and then you seen them all on because they telling on themselves on TikTok. Okay, they boy, y'all see some of them, and I got to go here. My continental African brothers and sisters, my Caribbean brothers and sisters, boy, that the bed book section of TikTok, Jesus Christ, that's embarrassing. You got these people, man. It's like they've abandoned all sense of dignity and self-worth to make fools of themselves for the oppressor class. And then they'll claim that, okay, it's foundational Black Americans that has such hatred for them. No, it's not us. The people that you're trying to get up under are the ones that make fun of you the most and mock you the most. And then you get over here and you proselytize yourself before those people, okay, as if you're their pets. I just got to call that what it is. Where's your pride in that? I mean, the stuff I ain't gonna even go. Y'all seen TikTok. I ain't gonna even go into detail on that kind of stuff. So see, it all starts with your mentality and your mindset. If you really love yourself and your people and you respect yourself and your people, there's certain things that you would not do towards your own people, certain things you would not say towards your own people. Everything that you do and you say would go towards the empowerment, the motivation, and the protection of your people. And see, for Dr. Johnson or anyone else that's going to be disingenuous about the actual problems, okay, you can't build unity until you address the downsides of certain things, okay? You got to fix what's wrong before you can unify. If not, what you're trying to do is just not going to work, okay? So I'm going to let the good doctor continue, and then we're going to come back and I'll break a couple more things down because he's about to say some more interesting things here. And hopefully y'all are getting something from this tonight.
Have to wake up from that nightmare, from that imaginary illusion of inclusion that has Black people thinking, if I come to America, but stay away from African Americans, I'll be given probationary white status. You'll never be given probationary white status because you are not white. And when they're done using you for your intellectual knowledge, when they're done using you in the labor market, when they're done using you, helping to perpetuate the myth of a multicultural colorblind America, they'll bust you right back to the country you came from.
All right. So now you heard what the good doctor had to say. All right. So let's deal with a little bit of that, right? Over here, we understand that white supremacy breaks its tools when it's finished with them. So we know not to try to align ourselves with it. We don't idolize these people like that, except for a few coons like your Jesse Lee Petersons, okay, your David Clarks here or there, okay, your Larry Elders, okay, and I've always wondered whether he's one of us or not, but as far as I know, I think he is. We know better, with the exception of a small percentage. When you look at the Candace Owens that's running over here, when you look at the Austin Chingays that's running over here, okay, when you start to look at all these different tether class Sambos that come over here, the fresh and fit clowns, y'all saw I had to go in on them, okay? They represent the majority versus the on-code brothers and sisters that they will allow over here, keyword, allow, because they coon screen. You better believe that they coon screen and say, okay, let me see if you one of those that have been idolizing us before you even hit the soil. We know we can work with you because, see, think about this. When they let our brothers and sisters come over here and immigrate here, a lot of times they send them to the widest places they can find. Now, I've always found that to be very strange because we know the danger of you coming here. You're a stranger to this land. Okay, you've never been here before. We know what white supremacy is because we're in the belly of the beast over here as foundational Black Americans. And then you go move to the places where our numbers are in the single digits and you surrounded by these people. We know you're in danger. You think you made it to the promised land for the tether class, not all. They think they've made it to the promised land because they're surrounded by whiteness and milk and magnesia. I'm like, oh, no. You are behind the firing line and you just don't know it. And sadly, they find out too late, okay? And see, Dr. Johnson's going to have to start addressing that because I'm like, listen, man, you better come here where your people are. This whole stay away from the Akata and all this other stuff, okay? Because see, what ends up happening is when you find out what danger you're in, when you isolate away from us, you always turn to us for help, okay? So why not start to reach out, especially in the information age? Their ignorance is no excuse today. Today, the world has basically shrank because of the advancements of technology we have. It just depends on how we use these things. So now, if you're going to be online, educating yourself about everything under the sun itself for what matters, then that's a you problem, okay? That's a you problem. So I just wanted to cover that part right there because, see, you know, like I said, I respect Dr. Umar Johnson and the work that he's trying to do. I really do want him to be successful in his endeavors. But when it comes to us being unified, we're going to have to really have a sit down at the table with intelligent, competent adults and discuss, okay, do you really want to see Black people in an empowered state? Because, see, I'm going to say this. This might sound controversial. Y'all let me know what you think about it. Salute to Patricia Jenkins, Project Leroy, Only Pamela's Way, Just Jerry Curls. I see y'all. Chris MC, what's going on? Provencia Felicia, I see Old Grandma. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this. And I'm going to be fair. I'm going to apply this question in a broad sense, and y'all just let me know what y'all think. Whether it's foundational Black Americans, continental Africans, Caribbean people, whoever else in the global Black diaspora you want to name, some of our people, in every lineage, some of our people are actually afraid of what it would look like to see us in a collective empowered state. You got to think about that for a minute. I honestly think that some people are afraid to be in an empowered state. We hear a lot of people, well, if we do that, them white folk gonna be mad. They already mad. If we do that, they're gonna try to kill us. They're already trying to kill us. You see what I'm saying? See, at some point, I would have to ask this question also, especially of the men, okay? Do you want empowerment, respect, economic prosperity, more than you are afraid of what them folks gonna do? Because see, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't wake up a day in my life afraid of what they gonna do. What else they gonna already do to us that they hadn't already done, family? You see what I'm saying? See, I'm gonna say this, it's gonna sound harsh. If you a Black person, as a man especially, because I give the women and children a pass, they have different mindsets. No disrespect to the sisters. I'm speaking from a traditional masculine role, is what I'm saying, okay? So I want my sister to understand me. If you're a Black man from anywhere on the planet, and you wake up afraid of this system, you're really not much used to a group of men that aren't afraid of it. You're not. What are you gonna do against those committing injustice when you're afraid to just speak against it? Ain't nobody told you to do nothing yet. You won't even speak against it to the point that you deny that it exists. Ain't no racism, ain't no white supremacy. Okay, but they just killed numbers of your people back home. They killing your people here. You gonna tell me that this doesn't exist? That's just me. I don't see what can be done with somebody that has that mindset. But hey, I think there's hope for the youth. I've noticed that a lot of them that come to these platforms, come to our space, interact with us, they want to learn from us, okay? They have a healthy respect for us. So this is why I don't put all of our brothers and sisters in the tether class, because that wouldn't be true. That would be a very ignorant statement to make, okay? We just apply that to those that come over here and act like Candace Owens, okay? There's your tether class poster girl right there, okay? So I want y'all to listen to this brother right here. In case you don't know who this is the good brother LAR movement. You probably heard me mention his name and his content over here before. Talented musician and artist. That's right, LAR. I'm bragging on you, brother. Talented artist and musician in his own right. He has an album on his channel, LAR Movement, called Saga of the Kryptonite Life. Very thought-provoking album. You all should go over there and check that playlist out. I guarantee you, if you listen to that brother's music, you can see a lot of what's on his mind just by the music that he produces. Very humble dude, though. But I'm gonna tell you something. For everybody that's gathered over here in this chat, one of the things that y'all know about me, if I know you got a talent and you good at it, I'm gonna put you on blast over here. So hey, you better not come over here if you don't like being acknowledged for your talent. I think that's something we need to do more of with our people. But I want y'all to listen to what this brother's about to say regarding the subject matter that we're addressing here tonight with the problems with global Black unity. I'm going to play this real quick, and then we're going to come back and analyze what the brother's saying.
What's going on, fam? LAR movement, still moving. I was listening to a blog, and I've been thinking about this for a good minute. So this one's going to be saying, basically, what Africans don't get about African Americans. There's some miscommunication here. I'm saying that because of this. I'm African American. I've known people, have friends from Africa, just like friends from the island. Black is black. You know, that's a connection that, you know, whether it's South America, Central America, Africa, the Caribbean, black is black. That's just that's the truth of it. But there's one part of it where, when I've had conversations with people whose parents are from Africa, who may live here, and they might be like, they may be born in the U.S., but their parents are not from here, or, you know, stuff like that. They have issues with us. And the root of the issue usually is they feel like we should be further along than we are. So they feel like we've been here bullshit. And I can see where sometimes they can feel that way if they're looking at the wrong stereotypes, because they're not looking at the big picture. Here's where what Africans don't get. And I'm going to backtrack before I go there right quick. We both got stereotypes of each other that are ridiculous. There are people that live up to those stereotypes, but for the most part, the stereotypes are ridiculous. We're talking about the totality of African American culture or African culture. You get what I'm saying? So here's what I'm saying. When Africans say we should be further along, if you say that to somebody that's African American or black, whatever you want to call yourself, I really don't care. You got to realize one thing. You came here. You know what I'm saying? So if you came to America, you came to America for the successes of America. If me being born here, my family being born here, to the slave history, you gotta, what most people are not understanding is this. Wasn't no Africans coming here during slavery. Wasn't no Africans coming here during Reconstruction. Wasn't no Africans coming here through Jim Crow. Wasn't no Africans coming here until the Civil Rights Movement, really. Maybe the Harlem Renaissance. So that's roughly 300 years of all kind of outlandish shit. So we have a disconnect. Straight up. Because it's kind of like saying that you're fair weather family. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you know it or not, we don't even say this to y'all because we think y'all should already figure this out. Like, what the hell you talking about? You know, don't act funny with me when you came from Africa or wherever to here and say that I ain't doing enough when I don't recall in not one history book that somebody like Africans came from Africa to get their family and friends back who had been enslaved. That never happened. You get what I'm saying?
All right. So now you hear the perspective the good brother LAR movement is giving right here. And see, this is a very important conversation that he brought up because, see, this is why I take it back to understanding history on both sides of the equation. Us understanding ours, continental Africans and Caribbean people understanding theirs. And then we get together when we encounter one another, lead with respect, and start asking questions about things we don't understand instead of making assumptions. We damn sure don't go off of anything the dominant society has told us about each other. I feel like any black person that allows our oppressors to tell us about other people that look like us, you got to be the biggest fool walking. Let's get that information from interactions we have with one another. Let's get that information from having one of them of any lineage tell us about that. Okay? That's the smart thing to do. In other words, when family come together, everybody else get out the house. That's where we would be responsible to start there. Okay, so now let's deal with what the brother LAR said regarding them not being able to come over here to get us. Again, I know brother LAR knows this, but I'm just saying this for a statement of fact for anybody, you know, that's listening to this that happens to be a younger person that might not understand the context of what he's saying. The reason why they didn't come over here to get us, and all you have to do is look at the dates and time period during Jim Crow and everything, they were under colonization. If you look at most African nations, they are only newly independent on paper for about 50 or 60 years, okay? They didn't get free until after we got free, okay? That's why you have to know your history on these types of things, all right? So that's one of the main reasons, okay? So now, when you fast forward beyond that, when you do come here, you should come here humble. You shouldn't come down here looking down your nose at our people, just like we wouldn't go over there and look down our nose at you. And see, for the longest time, it has been ignored that most Black Americans over here, we hold a lot of African cultural figures in high esteem. I know Winnie Mandela is one for me. Okay, I even respect the living brothers like our good brother Julius Malema. Okay, I mentioned PLO Lumumba, Joshua Mapanga. I can mention others. Before they killed the last president of Tanzania, John Magufuli, because he didn't want the medical procedure forced upon his country, they took that brother out. Yeah, I know they did. Okay, I respected him. The late great Robert Mugabe, who stood up to those white supremacists over there and said, you will not have my land and you will not be here where you don't belong. And because of his efforts to this day, there are sanctions on Zimbabwe, okay? So a lot of us respect many of their historical and cultural figures. Problem is, you will see some of them come over here, unfortunately, and they will mock the likes of Dr. Martin Luther King. You ever notice every Martin Luther King Day, they got a picture of him with gold teeth in his mouth. We don't do that with any of their cultural icons. We don't disrespect Shaka Zulu. We don't disrespect Nelson Mandela. Anybody, okay? Patrice Lumumba, okay? We definitely don't disrespect none of their icons like that, okay? We don't. So if you're coming over here doing that, let me tell you where that comes from. When I see that tilted class behavior, this is something that I have noticed. A lot of them will adopt their behavior from white supremacists. I mentioned on earlier broadcasts how a lot of them have started using that Pepe the Frog meme. And I'm like, do you even know what that means? And some of them have to by now. Look at Doja Cat. Okay, you saw her. She's a tragic mulatto. South African, I think her mother is. Either way, she's up in chat rooms with white supremacists, letting them degrade her and everything. And see, that type of twisted mindset right there, you can't get on code with that. Okay? So see, we have to look at these types of disrespectful things that are being done when some of them come over here. When we don't go over there in numbers and do the same. We don't even do that over here until these people start messing with us and we have to check them. We're supposed to check them. See, unity, look, let's put it this way. Unity is something I want to see. I do. But at the same time, if you got a family member that's been invited to your house and they start showing they behind, you going to check them. You be like, hey, whoa now. If you're going to be a guest in this house, there's rules over here. If you can't abide by the rules, then you can't be in the house. Okay, now, do we control who comes in and out of America? No, we do not. But I'll tell you what we do control. We control whether we look at you as family or not. Because, see, if you come over here with the mindset that you're going to side with our oppressors, when they turn on you, don't look to us for help, okay? You can't call us all kinds of avocados out your mouth one minute, then when the people show you what the business really is, now you come seeking us, okay? And if you are not one that does that, then, hey, we're not talking to you. We got much love for you, okay? We'll be on code with you as long as you on code with us. See, you can't, come over here like that big groove guy, just running over here making a fool out of himself. Now, he knows that he could not do that back in Nigeria where he's from. Making a fool out of their people and mocking them. They would shut that down with the quickness. See, unfortunately, over here, we've allowed ourselves to become the entertainment people. Oh, you put all your trash over in the black community. That's partly our fault for accepting any and everybody into our culture like that. And now we're starting to clean that up because, see, if you want to be respected, you have to let people know that you got rules. And if you don't follow them rules, then you can't be a part of our culture, okay? And we see that with hip hop now to the point where everybody telling us something that we created, we got it from them, okay? So we're going to have to straighten these things out. And see, let me add this to the tethers in case y'all haven't paid attention. Because you can verify what I'm about to tell you just by looking at simple history. One of the problems about trying to appease the dominant society and join with them, whenever the dominant society has conquered places, I'm going to give you some examples of this. Start right here with the Native Americans. When they accepted them people in there, they conquered them, they assumed their identity, and they damn near wiped them out. Most Native Americans today are white people. Look, there's very few actual Native Americans still left. You just got to tell the truth. History can back that up. Let's go down to Australia. Once an all-black continent. Came down there, conquered the people, assumed their identity. Now when you say Australian, the first thing you think of is white people. Them people are strangers to that land. Those are British people. They don't belong there. Okay? Just got to tell the truth on this. They assume, and look at what they did to the black people of Argentina. Wipe them out. Next thing you know, you assume their identity. See, the white supremacist operates like a global parasite. Okay? They can't survive without relying on the labor of other people, specifically black folks, and they cannot survive without people to cooperate with their systems of oppression. See, over here, we're starting to fight back against that. We've been fighting back against it, to be honest with you. But see, when you come over here and you think, okay, hey, I get this little regular job, there's more money than I've been making back home. I finally got decent accommodations, this, that, the third. I'll do anything to hold on to this, even let these people disrespect me. No, we are not going to conform to your way, visitor, brother, or sister, from wherever you come in the global black diaspora. You must conform to our way at home, okay? Appeasing white supremacy and ducking your head does not solve it. There are plenty of examples to show you that that does not work here, okay? When in Rome, do as the Romans do, as the saying goes. Which is why if we went to your nations, whatever your rules and customs are, we would have to respect those, okay? And see, anybody that doesn't understand that, you're not trying to understand it, okay? I just put that in as plain English as I can. Even a third grader could understand what I just said, okay? So I'm going to let the brother LAR get back to speaking here because he's going to make some more very important points. So let's let the brother speak.
So we're really not trying to hear that because you don't see, you see more people, African Americans who might go to Africa and do charity work, which I'm not saying it might be the best thing to do. I don't know. But you see more African Americans giving back to Africa than you see Africans coming here, sharing the love. You get so it's kind of one of those issues where you got to watch who you talking to. You know, like I said, black is black. We love you, but at the same token, if you wasn't here when things were tough historically, you shouldn't come here and act funny like I need to be somewhere. Like that don't make sense. You get what I'm saying? It just don't. Because it's basically saying, oh, they got the right to vote. They got the right, they could make themselves millionaires. They could make money. It's a free country. I could be black there now. Really? That's what it's about? Not cool. It kind of comes off as very arrogant and disrespectful, and at the same time, it's an era of, like I had an old sociology professor who was from the islands, and he said this, and I remember this very vividly. He says, when I first came here, I got an accent, and when I had my accent, he still has the accent. I wanted to make sure that they knew I was from, I think he's from the Bahamas. He said he wanted to make sure he knew that everybody knew that he was Caribbean. He wasn't black like black people here. He didn't want to be disrespected like we get disrespected. He wanted us to be them black people and him to be this exotic black person that doesn't have to deal with that. So that's how it comes across. You know, you can't come from your country overseas and then come here and say, I'm not like you. But through all the suffering that all of y'all went through, I will take advantage of all the good things that are possible. Very, very disrespectful. But it's still good. I'm just saying, we probably never, if y'all never figured that out yet, I'm just one person putting it out there. If you feel like I'm wrong, I'm just saying.
Okay, so now you heard what the good brother LAR had to say, and see, he didn't say that in a hateful way. He wasn't disingenuous about what he was saying. We saw and see everything that he's talking about. And see, this is what I got to say to my brothers and sisters over here, that when you see us checking the tether class, you jump out talking about, hey, you being divisive. Oh, you being divisive. No, listen. If you don't want to see us checking them, you're supposed to check them. These people are not going to be allowed to disrespect us after everything our ancestors went through for them to be able to have the right to come here. No, when you come here, you are eating off of our plate, whether you like that or not. The same as if we go over to your countries, everything that you've already built, if we start taking advantage of that, okay, we're taking advantage of what you've already built up. And see, like, one of the most important things that Brother LAR said in the closing of his statements, remember, he was saying that, hey, when you come over here, you want to take advantage of everything, but you don't want to bring nothing to the table. You can't build like that. That's not unity. That, you know what that is? That is actually an exploitative relationship. And see, I'm gonna give you a theory, okay? Because like I said, I've been to many different African nations, but I'm gonna put this theory out here. Family, from what I've observed, I'm not going to say all people, but I'm saying in general, for those that have that mindset that come here, they look at it as, okay, back home where I'm from, if I'm being exploited by East Indians, white people, especially if you're down in South Africa, Arabs, okay, because they over there in parts of Northern Africa and Eastern Africa, okay. If I'm being exploited by these people because I don't have the power to be an equal partner to them, when I leave here, I'm going to do the same thing to other brothers and sisters that look like me where I'm going. Now, if you adopted the oppressor's ways and mindsets, we can't build with you. And I say that to anybody in the foundational Black American lineage over here, my brothers and sisters. If you adopt the ways and the mindset of the white supremacists, we can't trust you either. Okay? That would be your Jesse Lee Petersons and your David Clarks and so on and so forth, okay? You see what I'm saying? See, again, when it comes to unity, it starts with the mindset. Dude, are you unified against white supremacy with us? Are you going to be on code against white supremacy with us, okay? You got to come bringing something to the table, not just looking at what you can take off the table. Okay, because everybody you've heard, a lot of them, Akon, all of them, if we just went back over there and we brought our resources and our talents over there, you could build this for us. I'm like, whoa. Okay, if we build this for you, then here's what we need, brother or sister. If we start coming back in numbers, we need to hear you saying this. Bring your skill sets, bring your resources. We will make available to you land. We will make available to you citizenship. Of course, you have to go through the proper procedure to get all this. I'm not saying skip the line, but what I'm saying is, I'm going to put it in a nutshell for you. You should be giving us the same consideration and deference that you will give the Chinese, the Indians, and other people over there that don't mean you no good and are only trying to exploit you. We don't want to exploit you. We have been the longest carrying the idea of Pan-Africanism over here, but we're nobody biting on it. You see what I'm saying? Not in large numbers. Now, if you want to change things, you can do what I just stated. We can't be the only one reaching out the olive branch. You got to reach back, okay? If you really want to make this thing happen, all right, on a large scale. And man, let me tell you something. If it ever does happen that way, man, I couldn't see anybody hindering us with ease, okay? It would be very hard for them to oppress us as a people. For example, consider this. When we are under oppression over here, things happen to us, we should hear the African Union speaking up loud and proud, like, hey, nope. Let me tell you what, let me tell you what this would be a fair exchange. With our brothers and sisters down there in South Africa, when they were facing apartheid, right? Understand this. When they were going through that, we spoke up for them over here. We boycotted things over here. Like, okay, if you're going to do them brothers and sisters like that over there, we're not going to support none of your stuff, okay? That the history books show that. Where's the equivalent of that today from the African Union when we're being mistreated over here as foundational Black Americans? You just say, okay, you're going to do that to my brothers and sisters over there? Got something for you. Let's cut all these. Look, you can't get no more resources from over here. We're going to ban you, okay? They have the ability to do that, okay? They can do that. They should take some type of stand and say, listen, until you treat them right, I'll do you one better. I'm going to throw it out here, family. Yeah, y'all want me to throw something out here for a minute? Do y'all want to know what would be a great gesture of good faith if they really want to get Pan-Africanism off the ground on a government level? Press 1 if you want me to tell you what my idea is. And I think if they did this would change a lot of people's minds. Press 1 if you want to know what my idea is. I'm going to give y'all a minute. Because I know exactly what would be a great and powerful gesture if they decided to do this, okay? Okay. I'm saying some words here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what my idea is. Hypothetically speaking, family, imagine if they did this. The African Union said, okay, tell you what, we come out and make an official statement. We support and encourage that our foundational Black American brothers and sisters be paid reparations by lineage for the slavery of their ancestors and the money that you generated off their backs to build America. And until you pay those reparations, you cannot do business in an African nation. We will not deal fairly with you for mistreating our extended family. Now, family, if they came out and made that statement, I think that would change a lot of people's minds over here. They'll be like, okay, at least they're trying to speak up. Am I right or wrong? You tell me what y'all think about that, huh? What do y'all think about that statement I just made? Do you think that would be a powerful statement that would serve to at least show, okay, yeah, they understand where we coming from. They feel our pain over here. You see what I'm saying? And see, that's the mindset that you're going to need if we're going to be serious about this Pan-Africanism. Because let's be honest, we get these reparations over here, then we can help you get yours, okay? That you would have the blueprint in place because the UK owes all the wealth that they have in their country comes from the continent of Africa. They got artifacts, the crowns and their jewels, or the jewels and their crowns and stuff over there come straight from Africa. All the resources they've stolen, all the people that they've murdered. I've got that history right here on this channel. If you cared about any of that, you would be trying to get behind the reparations movement instead of trying to hinder it when you come over here. Because see, speaking of that, I got to play something for you, family. This is going to piss a lot of y'all off, but you know me. I believe in speaking the truth over here, and I believe in showing the truth no matter who gets angry. So I'm finna show you something. When you hear this, it's going to piss you off. I'm going to play something for you, and I want you to hear this little peanut head bastard.
I don't care about your reparations. Listen, I don't care if you ever get it. As a matter of fact, I'm advocating against it because it's going to fuck up my dollar and make inflation go out of control. And so I don't want them to pay you. I don't want you to have nothing. Don't give these motherfuckers nothing. As a matter of fact, not only do I not want you to get nothing from reparations, I think that they should tax you for breathing.
I'm going to play it one more time and salute to the good brother Robert Harris for the cash app. Thank you very much, my brother. I'm going to play it one more time in case you thought you didn't hear that right. So before I go in, I want nobody to accuse me, you took him out of context. Oh, no. We're going to play it one more time.
I don't care about your reparations. Listen, I don't care if you ever get it. As a matter of fact, I'm advocating against it because it's going to fuck up my dollar and make inflation go out of control. And so I don't want them to pay you. I don't want you to have nothing. Don't give these motherfuckers nothing. As a matter of fact, not only do I not want you to get nothing from reparations, I think that they should tax you for breathing.
Not only do I don't want you to get reparations, I think they should tax you for breathing. Man, this little comic book milk dud jughead bastard right here. Let me tell you something. I don't care whether he FBA, non-FBA. This is the problem that I have with dudes like him. Salute to the good brother Kyle right in the building. I see you, fam. This is the problem that I have with people like him. You're not saying that about inflation when it comes to the blank check that Ukraine has. You're not saying that about all the money that these South Borderians, as our good brother Turn Rain, it cost them, are costing us over here in Chicago, New York, California. Okay? You're not saying that about all this money that they just pull out of nowhere. Anytime something happens to an LGBTQ person, you ain't pocket watching and talk about inflation on that. See, fuck the business family. Check this out. Let me show you something. Over here, I try to disseminate information that my audience can use. I've got something that I was going to put on my Patreon, but I think I'm going to give this to y'all for free because I think every black person deserves to know this. Family, would you like me to give you a direct link to a file that will show you the current state-to-state cost of illegal immigration? Would you like me to put that in the chat? How many of y'all really want to see how bad the bleeding is? You let me know and I'll put that file in the chat. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you want that file in the chat. If not, some of y'all might be like, I don't even want to know, because trust me, if you see these numbers, you're going to see that on top of them being anti-black when they come here, I think this will help any of you the next time a Democrat comes to your door talking about vote for him. Be like, no, ho, clown. You need to go ask these people that you did something for. You need to go ask them because you show your love by where you spend your money, right? Oh, I'm seeing some thumbs up over here. Y'all want to see that? Because I got it for all 50 states. You see, a lot of people probably don't want to talk about this, but I done told you over here, man. They target this channel for a reason. I may as well speak the truth while I got it. They could take it any day now. They might get mad and interrupt this stream right here, so expect that. So y'all want me to drop that file in the chat? Let me see. Give me a couple more thumbs up, man. Because see, this right here, let me tell you, man, when you go through the numbers, look, I'm going to tell you what page to start on. Start on page 44. You know what? Let me label this. I'm going to put this in the chat, so y'all can see how much illegal immigration is costing us. Yep. This right here, man, is going to blow your mind. And see, some of y'all, man, it's one thing to hear people talking about stuff. It's another when you see it for yourself. This file that I'm just putting in the chat right here, state by state illegal immigration. You save and bookmark that and go straight to page 44. In fact, I will drop that in the chat a couple more times as we go on here. But see, after the night, you sit down and look at them numbers. The next time they come asking you for something, you can pull that out. Like, nope. In my state, this is what you spending on these people and their children, because it's got their children on there too. And a lot more. Like I said, it's got the state by state costs. and several other things on a fiscal level that you did not know about. And this is for 2023. These are not old numbers. These are current numbers. You look at that, and the next time they come in your face, you use that as a blueprint there, okay? So now you saw Anton Coon Daniels, and yes, I'm calling you a coon, Anton, because that's exactly what you are. You are very foolish, sir, if you are talking about inflation when it comes to something that would benefit you if you're a foundational Black American, because usually little jughead, tether class looking people like that, they say those types of things because they know they're not eligible for it. Very foolish, because if we are empowered, that helps all of you over here. That goes back to the statement that I made about some Black people being afraid of empowerment. Okay. Why would you want, look, let's ask this question before we get on. Why would you want to see any Black person in a disempowered state? Why would you be against that, whether you're of their lineage or not? You know how silly that is? So you can't unify with somebody like him. Okay. And he's not the only one. You got a lot of them over here talking just like that. Okay. So see, Dr. Umar, you're going to have to deal with those that are talking like that. You have to recognize that these are realities over here. You can't just assume because somebody is Black like us that they're on code with us, okay? So now we got to deal with something else here, family. Want to show you something. We're going to analyze this clip. I'm thinking about getting the whole thing of this and doing a thorough breakdown on it, but we got to analyze this right here, because when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I got to include this in the broadcast tonight. I want y'all to take a listen to this.
American beef. Do you guys feel like it's a beef?
I don't feel like it's no beef, but I do feel like it's beef with your people. Your
I wouldn't
Dominicans.
say it's beef, but it's like hate.
I wouldn't say no beef because motherfuckers want to be us.
It's definitely
The
hate.
gag.
Man, ain't no beef, man. We all.
All right, so let's get on that right there. The statement, as she said, quoting her, motherfuckers want to be us. Ma'am, with all due respect, the greater majority of my foundational Black American brothers and sisters don't idolize anybody outside of ourselves. We are very proud of who we are. See, I'm going to prove it to you. You say that we want to be you, then why do not we copy your attire in your homelands? We don't dress like you all. You all dress like us. And I'm saying this respectfully. We just speaking the facts. We don't make a habit of imitating, fixing your cuisines in our homes. We don't. For the most part, we like some of your music and your entertainment and your culture, but we don't. You can't go to most foundational Black American homes and find a wide selection of anything outside of our culture. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy other people's cultures. I do. I definitely do. All the places I've been in my lifetime, I definitely enjoy and respect other people's cultures. But I'm speaking from a factual sense that when you are here in our homelands, you go to anybody's house, unless there's someone Jamaican in the family, you're not going to find a whole bunch of reggae music on deck. Okay. Unless there's someone Haitian in the family, you're not going to find a whole bunch of things related to their culture, continental African, so on and so forth. Okay. So now, when it comes to us being proud of who we are, we're not the ones that when you come where we are, the greater majority of our people are trying to bleach our skins to look like other people. Okay. Now, this sister is a brown complexion, but where she's from, I guarantee you, because it's all over the Caribbean and continental African nations, these people are trying to bleach themselves to look like other people. So if you don't want to be you, why would we want to be you? No disrespect, none at all. We are very comfortable in our cultural heritage, which is why a lot of them seem to have a problem with that. That's the strangest thing ever, because we don't trip about you being proud of who you are. Celebrate that. We respect that. We want you to be proud of who you are. But when you come here, don't think that we're not supposed to be proud of who we are. You can't tell us, oh, you just African. No, we are not culturally African. African DNA is in our genetics. Yes, it is. Nobody denies that with any sense. But on a cultural level, we are a different culture. What is the problem with that? Why do you throw such vitriolic disrespect and hate towards those of us who are saying, hey, listen, we're embracing who we are as a people? We've ignored that for far too long. That's part of the problem why everybody feels so entitled to the things that we have over here. See, when you put yourself last and you put other people first all the time, and then you finally say, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I've done enough for other people. It's time to put myself first. The sad thing about that, some people look at you like, how dare you put yourself first? No. Look, listen, whether you like it or not, we're going to embrace our culture over here as foundational Black Americans. That doesn't mean that that's a knock on you or in any way denigrating you. That doesn't stop you from being proud of who you are. Why are you so threatened by us embracing who we are as a people? You see what I'm saying? See, you should just respect that, like we respect who you are. Then we can come together in unity and respect and actually get some building done. You see what I'm saying? But you can't have unification when you have people making statements like this, because she know better than that. Our culture is, look, I got to say this again. Around the world, everybody is copying Black American slang, Black American fashion sense, Black American cuisine, Black American hairstyles. Look, I'll tell you one of the things that blew my mind. I wish I had that clip. You got people over in Japan. They got this little process to try to make their hair like ours and getting there. I promise you, look that up. You can find it out here on YouTube, man. They got this process where they're trying to make their hair look like Black people's and all that. And then some of them have the nerve to, you want to copy us, but you hate us as far as who we are. That is like one of the worst cases of cultural schizophrenia that I've ever seen. You want to copy and mimic a people as far as hip hop and everything else, but you hate those people. You have some serious issues if that's what you got going on. But see, yeah, this statement that she made there, I'm like, ma'am, prove it. Where do you see us trying to copy you? We really don't do that, okay? So yeah, there's that's just a false statement right there. But we're gonna analyze the rest of what they were saying here, because to be honest with you, it's not any beef. The only issue that you will have with a foundational Black Americans is when you start being disrespectful towards us over here. I mean, come on now. Let's let it continue.
We all one. Peace, love.
Got you. So what you feel the beef is, V? Personally.
Ain't no beef.
I
They trying
feel
to
like
V.
Oh,
I'm
V,
sorry.
you can't
Beneath
do
it.
that. I'm B, you V. Okay, go ahead.
When you say B, it sound V. Because you call me V.
Yeah, I call her V. But now, BB, how do you feel about
you talking to me, right?
Yeah, I'm talking to
okay.
you, my bad.
Okay, so honestly, I feel like it's not beef, because beef is when two parties are, you feel me, beefing. It's hate because it's only hate coming from the other side. I feel like no hate to Americans. Like, I have a lot of American friends and I love, you feel me, my American friends. But it's some Americans, like, I don't know if it's because of the fact that y'all, like, the white man, like, basically erased y'all culture. Like, y'all don't really have any culture. And
Identity
the very
crisis.
fact that Caribbeans, we're, like, we have something, although we're all the same color, we have something that divides us, which is our culture. And I feel like y'all don't like that.
Okay, so now I'm going to break this down to simple brass tacks here, and we're going to deal with this once and for all and make this plain. Because, see, a lot of times when people make that statement that are outside of foundational Black American culture, a lot of times it provokes a lot of hostility, a lot of high emotions, and people forget to use common sense to debunk that point. Ma'am, whoever she is, because I don't know her name, any other continental African brother or sister, any Caribbean brothers and sister, anybody else that's anywhere in the global Black diaspora, listen to me very carefully. When you make the asinine statement that foundational Black Americans don't have a culture, yet you imitate our culture, that makes no sense. That is the greatest oxymoron. It's funny to me at this point. I'm like, wait a minute. The culture that you say we don't have, you're imitating it, ma'am or sir, whichever person that says that, okay? That's the first thing. That makes no sense at all. Now, let's deal with us losing our culture. That would be correct. Those of us that were already here and the small percentage, which is between 3 and 5% that were brought to North America from the continent of Africa, okay, we're stripped of our original cultures. That's true. We created a new one, which is seen around the world with everybody, okay? Everybody, listen, I got to say this like it is. I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes, but this is a fact that you can look up and see. When you say the word cool, you don't think about white people first. You don't think about Hispanic people. You don't think about East Indian people. You don't think about Arabic people. You think a black person first. You know why? Because everybody looks at our culture as the standard for what is trendy or cool. And look, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to go here with it. Because see, I'm proud of who I am, and I'm just speaking facts that you can see. When it comes to the beauty standard, and this is the sad thing about some of our women and some of our men in our community, a lot of us don't realize that we are that globally too, because let's go ahead and call it what it is. These surgeries and enhancements that all these other groups that don't have our natural full lips, okay, they don't have the natural figures that our women have. I'm trying to keep this clean here tonight because there may be kids watching, okay? They go and have procedures done to get what we naturally have. They try to make their hair look like ours that naturally grows out of our head. See, for me, when I see white supremacists criticizing us and talking down on us, I understand what it is. It's envy, okay? They have this sick, twisted obsession with us that they envy what they cannot be because, look, at the end of the day, man, look, white folks, you're going to get mad. But you got them little pale, thin, earthworm lips. I would be mad too. I ain't going to lie. Let me tell you something, man. These big, juicy, attractive soup coolers that I have on my face over here, bro, I would be depressed if I woke up one day and God cursed me for whatever I did. Good Lord, please don't do this to me. If he cursed me and said, GBS, for a past sin that you've committed, I shall curse you with the thin earthworm lips of the white man. I was like, oh, no, please, I will repent whatever I've done. I would be depressed, y'all. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I need these lips. Well, let me tell you, man, these lips are legendary. But listen, I digress. What I'm saying is, family, throwing a bit of humor here because, I understand it's serious subject matter. What I'm saying is, family, we don't idolize other people, okay? We don't. We're proud of who we are. So when you make the statement, I see y'all laughing in the chat, and when you make the statement, we don't have a culture, that's crazy, man, because you clearly imitate it, okay? It would be different if you said, see, look at y'all. Every time you turn around, you got on Jamaican type clothing, African clothing, this, that, the third. Now, you have some of our people that will wear their attire, but it's not in large numbers. And then here's the thing about that. Let's go here with it. Because a lot of people, some of y'all do wear our stuff. Okay. When we do start to adopt your attire or anything, we wear it in a different way. We're a very unique people. We're a very innovative people. So we might get something that's traditional with you, and then the next thing you know, we wear it a different way. And now we started another trend, okay? So yeah, they got to stop this disrespect talking about you don't have a culture, because when you stop to think about how silly that sounds, it's really coming from a place of envy. And see, I'm not going to say they don't have a culture, but what I will say is this: ours is the one that's the world standard, that's most imitated. All you have to do is travel a little bit around the world. When they find out that you're a Black American getting off a plane somewhere, you should see how, man, listen, y'all got to experience that, bro. You would think you're a damn rock star or something, man. Especially if you go to places where we're not hardly ever at. You go to certain Asian countries, okay? You go to certain European countries or whatever. I mean, and listen, places where we're not at, and they find out that you're a Black American, man, they think you're a damn rock star, man. I'm not. Listen, any brother or sister in this chat room that has traveled, y'all can bear me witness on that, okay? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm a big proponent of anybody that does travel, represent us well, because that might be somebody's first encounter with a Black American. You see what I'm saying? And for the most part, our people carry ourselves like we got some sense when we go somewhere, all right? So see, that's the truth about that, sister. Nobody's imitating y'all culture globally, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm saying what you can point to and see. That's the truth, okay? So I'm going to let her continue because, they had a very interesting discussion here on this couch. So let's let her continue.
Just because we are different, because y'all want us to feel like we all the same, which we are. You feel me? We was all slaves, but at the end of the day, we are different. Like, we have a different cultural background, and y'all don't like that for some reason. Because every time where we try to show our difference, y'all try
I finally.
Okay, so now you heard what she had to say at the end of that. Okay, because I know there's more clips of that out there. Like I said, if y'all want me to, I would do a full breakdown of all of that. But let's just deal with what she said in the last part. She said, well, okay, we were all slaves, okay, but we're different. And ma'am, you are exactly right. We are different, okay? We are different because the way our collective mindset towards systematic racism and white supremacy is, we see it as something to fight, not something to submit to, not something to appease or bow down to. Unfortunately, too many that come here think the opposite, like your Myron Gaines, aka Foodle the Poodle, as I call him, and your Walter Weeks, you know, the fresh guy, looking like a little tadpole with his little ridiculous ass. They think it's something to submit themselves to, and if I just talk bad enough about the Black Americans here, the white people gonna look at me as the special Negro. No. You don't get. Cooning is not a support system or a shield. I don't know how many times they're going to have to see that before they get that through their thick heads, okay? So now that we've dealt with that, what we're going to do is this. We're going to analyze some other statements that the good Dr. Umar has made here because, like I said, from time to time, you know, this brother will say certain things that I disagree with, but I give him credit when he says something that's right. So I'm going to play this right quick. We're going to analyze these statements that he's about to make because it goes into addressing what we need for global Black unity to be possible here tonight. Let's let the good doctor speak.
Saw Little Mermaid. I finally saw Little Mermaid. I finally saw Little Mermaid. Brothers and sisters, y'all told me it wasn't that bad. Y'all told me it wasn't that bad. Shout out to Holly Bailey. Much respect to her. My criticism has nothing to do with you, my beautiful African sister. That's my sister. I love her. She did a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let me catch you with no puppies. Don't let me catch you with no puppies. Don't let me catch you with no puppies. But a couple thoughts on Little Mermaid. First of all, I thought the bunny hopping was a subplot. My major criticism of Little Mermaid, I thought the bunny hopping was a subplot. I thought her crushing up on the Neanderthal was secondary to a greater storyline. I thought her quest for the skim milk was subsidiary to a much more important theme within the movie. I watched that whole damn movie. The main theme of the movie, the main plot of the movie, the main storyline of the movie was her thirsting for Neanderthal DNA. That was the main story. That was the whole movie. Y'all didn't tell me that. You integrationist Negroes misled me. Y'all made me think that the bunny hopping was a subplot. Y'all made me think that the bunny hopping was a secondary agenda within the film. That's not true.
Now, as you've heard the good doctor so eloquently describe what the Little Mermaid movie was, and I wholeheartedly agree with him on that. Yes, it was a quest for skim milk, but see, I'm going to tell you what I do like about that movie. Because first and foremost, let me give you my complete thoughts on that. I'm of the mindset that instead of us taking white established characters and turning them Black, we need to create more of our own characters, okay? Because we've always been an original people. We don't need to take their characters and turn them Black. Let them have their characters. Because see, like I've said on a previous broadcast, white supremacists don't have any real heroes anyway. That's why they bitch and moan and complain about when a character that was white is turned Black or some other color, whatever. They lost their mind when there was a Black man introduced into the Star Wars franchise. You see what I'm saying? So see, those are my thoughts on that. But I will tell you this. Here's one good thing about that movie. Y'all remember when that was first announced and they showed that, I think, what is it? What's the sister? Halle Bailey. I think that's the one that's played it because I know she has a sister. I don't want to get them mixed up. I think it's Halle Bailey, okay? Here's the good thing about what happened. You saw the white supremacists come out of the woodworks when that trailer was announced, and they saw that she was going to be in there. And she's not even a dark. She's like a caramel complexion type sister, okay? They lost their minds. And see, for you bed wenches, oh yeah, see, you saw anti-black racism on full display. Because see, that lets you know that this little fantasy world that you live in, where you think you're going to get you a Brad and everything going to be cool, nah, them white supremacists, you can still find them comments online right now. Oh, boy, they was N-word, this, that, the third. Oh, boy, they was pissed off. Oh, boy, they was angry about that. And see, one thing that I say is a good thing when that racism and white supremacy is put in front of your face like that, you can't deny it exists then. If you do, you fooling yourself in the most deceptive and dishonest way. You got a real problem if you deny what's right in front of your face, because white people, that's one thing that will get them to tell you how they really feel. Mess with anything that they consider an institution. So you need to understand how important their fictional characters are to them. Are people with no true heroes in history, they have to hold on to that for dear life. You see what I'm saying? So see, when I saw that online, I say, yeah, this letting them all know what it really is. And see, the other concern that I have, it goes in line with what Dr. Umar is saying. You want to portray this image of like a little black girl looking up to white men. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I don't like any type of movie or content where they're promoting that, because I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to condition young black girls to say, hey, see, you can't trust that black man. You need to get you a zaddy, and vice versa. I don't like it when they're trying to do it with the little boys, but they're really heavy about trying to get the little girls to idolize our oppressor, the oppressor class of men, okay? And see, they're going to have more success with the tether class than that. Oh, I got to see it like it is. They are. Because see, we recognize that. We see what that programming is, okay? And see, listen, I can't tell nobody what to do, but if you're smart, you will educate your kids and let them know what that agenda is, because they got several agendas at play. And see, this goes into us talking about global black unity. If you got the mindset, particularly when it comes to your people, and I was having a conversation with some family members earlier about this. If you have the mindset that you have to look outside of your people to find love or what have you, and I get it, people gonna do what they want to do, but people have the right to question, how much do you really love your own? When out of millions, you couldn't find one man or woman to be with? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, and see, if you have that type of mindset, when it comes to global black unification, are you really gonna be unified with us when in your bedroom at night, you sleeping with someone? And I'm not just talking about just a white person. Let me be crystal clear on what I'm saying. I'm not talking about whether your wife is white or whether your husband is white. I'm talking about you get you one from that class that, for whatever reason, you ignore their anti-black racism, and then an idea or a situation comes up where it requires you to speak up for black people, or we're discussing producing justice for a black person. Case in point, imagine the couple, black man or black woman with a white spouse, during the time when our good brother George Floyd was murdered. Now imagine a household where the white spouse is, yeah, that nigga deserved it. And then you sitting over here like, wait a minute, how? No, he didn't. Heaven help you if you have children. Imagine a house divided on racial issues like that. Because see, believe it or not, some people are in that situation right now. You can do what you want as an adult, but when you start having children, here's what I'm saying. If one parent is an anti-black racist, just because they lay down with you and have sex with you doesn't mean that these people are not white supremacists. They'll have whole kids. You got Proud Boys that have black children, okay? Biracial children, however you want to call it. Just because somebody lay down with you and procreate with you doesn't mean they're not a racist. Then you see that come out, how you going to raise your child? You got a white supremacist over here indoctrinating them with these types of beliefs, and then you trying to teach them the right, sane way, because white supremacy is demonic. You trying to teach them to be a decent human being and love themselves. How you going to properly raise children under those environments? See, these are the things that a lot of people don't like to think about because they're too selfish to think about that. Case in point, look at Herschel Walker's son, Christian Walker. Look, if you haven't ever seen how mixed up and filled with self-hate he is, and yes, he's a member of the LGBTQ community, but man, beyond that boy take Cooney to a whole nother level. So there's an example for you to look at when it comes to those types of issues. But I'm gonna let the good doctor get back to making some other points here because he's got a lot more to say, and we're gonna come back and analyze that.
That's not true. That's not true. The whole movie was about her chasing down and thirsting after the Caucasian. That was the whole movie. The whole damn film. How could you take your daughter to see that? Black fathers. How could you take your daughter to see that? Black mothers. How could you take your daughter to see that? The whole film was nothing but an interracial thirst fest. That was the whole film, brothers and sisters. The whole film. She left the water kingdom. The Little Mermaid abandoned the water kingdom so she could sleep with white flesh. She left. And how did she have a white father? How did she have a white father? But the white boy had a black mother. Somebody help me understand. Help me understand. Help me understand. How did she have a white father, but the white boy had a black mother? He was not mixed race. And the mother was richly melanated. So somebody's going to have to help me understand. How did he have a richly melanated black mother, but he was pure Neanderthal? Can someone help me out? Make it make sense, brothers and sisters. Make it. They had the Asian rapper playing the ghetto bird. They had a ghetto bird in there. Always got to have a little ghetto animal. They always put ghetto animals in the black cartoon movies. They always put ghetto sounding, talking animals in the black cartoon movie. So the bird was ghetto, but she was played by an Asian rapper. A ghetto black bird voiced by an Asian rapper. A ghetto black bird voiced by an Asian rapper. And then the blackest character in the movie was Sebastian, the damn STD crab. The blackest character in the movie was an STD crab, Sebastian. Sebastian was the blackest character in the movie, and he was an STD crab. An STD crab. An STD crab. And he was played by the mixed race brother. He was played by the mixed race brother. They had Halle Bailey's skin bleached so light. I don't know what kind of makeup they put on that girl. They had her trying to look as white as they can make her. Then she had blonde hair. And when she left the water kingdom and got on the land, she had blonde locks. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. The whole movie was about her stealing the heart of the snow puppy. The whole movie was about her stealing the heart of the snow puppy. And then they finally kissed at the end. I don't need my daughter watching that. I don't need my daughter watching that. This was a propaganda movie to tap into the imagination of young black girls. This was nothing but Meghan Markle and Prince Harry for children. That's all this was. This was nothing but Meghan Markle and Prince Harry for children. That's all this was.
I 100% agree with him on that. And see, here's something I'm going to pose to you in the chat room. You all can discuss it amongst yourselves. Tell me what you think on this. When it comes to something as simple as this Little Mermaid movie, those of us who are foundational Black Americans that see the agenda that Dr. Umar is talking about, because he's correct, we see what the problem is with that. Do you think those in the tether class see that the same way as us? Because see, in their minds, got to call it for what it is, that's what they dream about. Getting them a Zaddy or a Brad, okay? That's what they dream about. So they would look at us like, oh, you making a big deal out of that. Like, okay, nah, you the one that don't understand what these people are trying to do. Because see, imagery is very important. Everything that you've ever seen from before, be clear on what I'm saying here. I want you to understand this. Everything that you've ever seen in your life, from the time that you develop eyes before you exited your mother's womb, is somewhere locked into your cerebral cortex and your memory. It's in there somewhere, even if you can't recall it. Everything you've ever seen, okay? Imagery is very powerful. This is why they include that in their propaganda, okay? The dominant society, all right? Don't you ever forget that as long as you live. This is why you must guard your mind against what you put into it. Just as you are what you eat, you become what you think also, okay? So now, when you further look at this, a lot of them won't see that issue the same way as us. And see, the other thing that I got to bring up, the reason why he was talking about the makeup and stuff that they put on their skin, they knew how white people were going to receive that as far as by and large. Because they proved it online, and they still talking bad about that to this day. Oh, but they are livid about that. I'm telling you, boy, you want to see that racism? Come out and take a white character and flip it black, or even a light shade of black. Watch how they show their true colors. I'm going to let the good doctor get back to it right here, because he's going to get into some more important things outside of just this movie here.
This was nothing more than Meghan Markle and Prince Harry for children, brothers and sisters. The whole movie was about a black girl living in the water, thirsting for a white man on the land. She gave up her gills. She gave up her damn fins. She gave up everything to chase that damn milk of magnesia. So President Biden had a block party for the Rainbow Gang. President Biden had a block party for the Rainbow Gang. Since when did presidents start throwing block parties on the White House lawn? I don't think I've heard of this before. Has anyone ever heard of the President of the United States throwing a block party in front of the White House? Has anyone ever heard of this before? I think the Rainbow Gang is the first movement in American history that had a block party on the White House lawn. Since the president wants to throw block parties, since the president wants to throw block parties, since the president wants to throw block parties, how about a block party for all the families, black families, who had relatives murdered by the police? How about a block party for all the African children whose parents been incarcerated? How about a block party for all the black mothers who had their children taken away from them? How about a block party for all the black youth who've been raped and molested in juvenile detention? How about a block party for all the black victims of white racism and brutality? How about a block party for all the homeless black people in America? How about a block party for all the miseducated children in America? How about a block party for all the gentrified Africans in America? Since you want to throw block parties, I want you to understand, overstand, and understand. I got a question for Eric.
I got to throw one more in there. How about a block party for all the wrongfully accused and wrongfully convicted incarcerated black men? How about one for that?
Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson, mayors of New York and Chicago, our two largest black cities. Will you allow New York Africans and Chicago Africans to move homeless blacks in and get paid? Mayor Adams and Mayor Johnson, Negropeans, will you allow black people to move homeless blacks in their homes and get paid? Will you allow them to move homeless black children in their homes and get paid? Because we have an epidemic of homeless black children. We have an epidemic of homeless black mothers with children. We have an epidemic of ex-offenders. We have an epidemic of mental health, black mental health. victims who are not being properly served, since you're willing to pay for non-American immigrants, since you're willing to pay money for non-American immigrants to move in black people's homes, can we also move black homeless in our homes and get paid? Or are you discriminating against black people for non-Americans? That's the question. Are you discriminating against American Africans for non-American immigrants? So I can get paid if I let the migrants in my house. I can get paid if I let the migrants in my house. I can get paid if I let the migrants in my house, but I won't get paid if I let a homeless black person in my house. I won't get paid if I let a homeless black child in my house. I won't get paid if I let a homeless black elder in my house. So you're not going to pay me to house one of my own, but you'll pay me to house an undocumented immigrant?
Now, family, what he's saying, he's not exaggerating on this, because I know a lot of people tend to think that Umar is being hyperbolic or he's being boisterous or exaggerating. No. It is that bad. You can look that up, start in New York, and see, let me explain something to you. We've been saying over here in New Black Media Spaces for years. The test areas for a lot of things they want to implement nationwide, it starts in New York and California. Think of it this way. I'm going to give you some homework to do if you're not familiar with it. And I just put that link in the chat of the state-by-state cost current numbers of illegal immigration. You should save that and bookmark that and share that with everybody that you know of so that you see what the numbers is. When you see your state, be prepared to be pissed off as a black person when they start talking about what we can't have. But see, family, let me address this. What he brought up is a good point. The next time these Democrats come to you asking for your vote, you be like, hey, okay, you got money for the illegal immigrants, and you want to do this thing with your housing homeless black people. So what if we want to take our own people in? You got a program for that? You going to do that? If they tell you no, you know what you should tell them, okay? They need you. I'm telling you, all of us are saying it. When they come asking you for a vote this election cycle, you need to send them back to the people that they've been doing things for left and right. We're going to keep saying that. That's the smart thing to do because, listen, I know some of you are probably bisexuals, not most of my audience, but some of you listening probably were bisexuals. You see now that you've been played, you have an opportunity to correct that. Again, I was having this discussion with a family member earlier this day. You don't make decisions out of fear, okay? And my family members that I was talking to on code with this, but you don't make decisions out of fear because you're going to make the wrong one every time. You collect your thoughts, assess the situation, and then you come back and make a decision on what you're going to do. They let them use Trump as the damn boogeyman, and I'm going to say it again. That white man is no worse than any other president that has been in office. They're all white supremacists. But if you're going to look at it and get straight down to brass tacks, and this is the part where they be like, oh, you a Trump supporter. No, I'm not a nobody supporter. I support whoever is for my people. But speaking intelligently, you can look this up. Donald Trump did not have any policies in place to harm black people. If you really want to look at it, when he was in there, he increased the funding to the HBCUs that Roland Martin, the Boulay Buffet Master is always hollering about with them triple chins, the little sandwich support systems up under his neck. But listen, I'm going to leave him alone. He increased HBCU funding. And then on top of that, he did not cut the funding to the black farmers like Biden did. He increased it. Biden slashed the funding for the HBCUs when he got in, and he damn sure slashed funding for black farmers around the country when he got in. That's just two examples. See, voting is a business transaction. I want to see our people grow to a point where we start looking at policy over feelings, okay? Start looking at your policies when you're talking about who you're going to vote for. And specifically with black people, overwhelmingly, we are the ones that put Biden in office. And I'm saying I didn't vote for the bastard, but I'm saying as a collective, we're the one that put him in office. Joe Biden said it. I'm going to always have the African communities back. And when he got in there, he stabbed us in the back. Y'all seen? I keep showing y'all that picture, all them executive orders that was stacked up on his desk, higher than you could damn near see. Now, one of them was for black people. Okay? Now, if you voted for him, you should feel played at that point. You're not going, they was always talking about holding him accountable. Okay. But those that said, well, we got to get him in there, then hold him accountable. Now's your chance to do it. Are you going to run out and vote for this man again first? See, look, let's look at the con game. First, they said, Well, help us get the president, then we can do something. Okay, got him the president. Well, we got to get the Senate first. You got him the Senate. Well, we got to get the Congress first. Okay, you got him the Congress. And then all of a sudden, after you got them everything they wanted, well, it's a Christian sentiment, Joe mentioned that we just can't do nothing. But now, as soon as Afghan refugees, Ukrainian refugees, all these people south of the border coming, oh, they can do something for everybody except for black people. That got them where they're at. You should feel like the biggest crash test dummies ever. You don't have to continue being one. And see what Umar's about to explain here? I want y'all to listen very carefully to what he's about to state here, because see, if you're a brother, sister there in New York, don't you do this, you're going to be in a bad situation. I'm going to let Dr. Umar explain this, and then we'll come back.
You'll use my tax dollars to house an undocumented immigrant, but you won't use my tax dollars to let me house a homeless black mother or elder or child? Really? Really? Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson? Really? You got money for undocumented immigrants, no money for black people. I don't understand this. Black youth in New York City are unemployed. How are you paying for undocumented immigrants at 14 New York City hotels? You paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a week for undocumented immigrants to sleep in a hotel when you got black people sleeping on the street? Eric Adams, I need answers, my brother. Are you going to let any of the migrants stay in your beautiful home? Mayor Eric Adams, how many undocumented migrants are living in your large, beautiful home? Mayor Brandon Johnson, because you have to lead by example. I mean, you are the leader of your city, right? You are the leader of your city. Mayor Brandon Johnson, how many undocumented migrants are living in your home? Because I'm sure you have some migrants living in your house. I know you're not telling black people to open their homes to illegals from other countries, and you haven't opened your home. Brandon Johnson, how many migrants are living with you? Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams, how many undocumented migrants are living in your house, brother? Can somebody in New York please confirm how many migrants did Mayor Eric Adams open his home to? They want black people to let the migrants in their house so they can get permanent residency privilege and push black people out their own homes. Listen to me, brothers and sisters in New York and Chicago. Listen to me, brothers and sisters in New York and Chicago. They want you to let the migrants in. And once you let the migrants in, they're going to get residence privilege and they'll force you out your own damn house. I'm telling you, this whole $100 a night to let the migrants live in your Chicago home, $100 a night to let the migrants live in your New York City home, the migrants are going to push you out of your house. You're going to get so frustrated. You're going to get so frustrated. You're going to get so frustrated with them breaking your shit, disrespecting you, not cleaning, not doing this, not doing that. You're going to throw up your arms, leave your house, and they're going to own your house. You're going to throw up your arms, leave your house, and they're going to own your house. Once they get a piece of mail, they don't have to leave. Once they get a piece of mail, they don't have to leave. They're going to gentrify you out your own house with your permission because you want $100 a day. They going
Y'all better listen to what this brother is saying, because he is spot on about that. A lot of y'all up there in New York, my brothers and sisters, I get it. I understand it's tough times. You better not do this, because he's right. You accept that money, $100 a night, whatever they're talking about paying. They get there and start receiving mail at your property. Then all of a sudden, things start going left, like the good doctor is saying, because he's mild in his description. Let me give you another one. If you're silly enough to take them in and you got children, you don't know these people from a can of paint. You got all types of criminals that's done flooded up here from south of the border. These people, no telling what they've done in their home, former country they're coming from. They're not screening these people like that. And you go take in a murderer, a rapist. Then on top of that, let's just say you do get lucky, you don't get one of them. Next thing you know, start causing some type of problems. They getting mailed there. You got to go through an eviction process just to get them out your home legally. You better think. And see, I already know, unfortunately, in our community, you got some people that's gonna let this warning go in one ear and out the other. We are telling you now, you got to be twice the fool it take to be one to think that this is a good idea. I'm gonna get me $100 a night. Yeah, okay, all right, you do that. And then you can't say nobody warned you when you end up exactly like this brother saying. Now you out of your own house. Because see, let's be clear. You already seen that they put illegal non-citizens over the homeless citizens of New York. You really think that they wouldn't do something like that and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and let them have your house. Now you can join the homeless people out here. Y'all, a lot of you, boy, y'all better wake up. We're trying to warn you now. Because, see, I already know. Unfortunately, there are some people that's going to jump right on there. Yeah, man, they're good money. Okay, all right. You're going to learn what being greedy gets you, too, if you do that. And see, this fits into what we're talking about here tonight because it goes into the mindset of what it would take to have global Black unity. One of the things you need in order to have that is you have to be on the same page when it comes to recognizing a threat. You understand me? If you're not on the same page as far as recognizing the threat, you can't be unified with the people that do because you're going to be pulling in the other direction. We have to let you go your own way if you're that type of person. But hey, I want y'all to finish listening to what this brother's saying because I got to give it to him. He was spot on with this.
To gentrify you out your own house with your permission because you want $100 a day. New York City and Chicago? New York City and Chicago? New York City and Chicago, you better be careful. New York City and Chicago, you better be careful. You're going to let the migrants in. You're going to want to put them out. And Mayor Eric Adams and Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to let you know you cannot evict the migrants. You cannot evict the migrants. They're going to tell you you cannot evict the migrants. And guess what they're going to say? They're going to say the migrants are not citizens and are not subject to American law. They're going to tell you to your face they are not American citizens and therefore they are protected by international human rights law. They're going to tell you they are not citizens of America and therefore they do not have to follow American law. They are protected by human rights law. You cannot put them out your house. You cannot put them out your house. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And for you raccoons in the Black community who don't recognize the significance of the migrant takeover, and to you raccoons in the Black community, let me say this for you raccoons. Let me say this to you raccoons, okay? There's 8,000 migrants in Chicago with hundreds arriving every day. There's over 60,000 migrants in New York with hundreds arriving every day. These migrants are going to repopulate. These migrants are going to repopulate. These migrants are going to repopulate. Planned Parenthood don't control their reproductive system. Planned Parenthood don't control their reproductive system. They not going to Planned Parenthood. They're not going to Planned Parenthood. If you got 8,000 migrants in Chicago right now, okay, 8,000, it's going to be 50,000 in 5 years with the new babies. It's going to be 50,000 in 5 years with the new babies. New York City, you got 50,000 migrants today. It's going to be 250,000 in 5 years. They don't die, they multiply. Oh, yes. This is a setup for the replacement of Black America. This is the setup for the gentrification of Black America. That's right. They're going to get in your house and make babies. Oh, yes. They're going to move into the Black home for $100 a night and make babies. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And when everybody gets pregnant in your house, you will not be able to put them out. You will not be able to. You can't evict no pregnant woman. They're not going to let you evict no pregnant woman. And you're going to say, I didn't know that you was going to let them have all these babies in my house. That's what you get, Black people, for not understanding, overstanding, and understanding. That's what you get, Black people, for not understanding, understanding, and overstanding that.
And I have to agree with him yet again, because see, let's think logically. For those that will sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to get this $100 a night, y'all crazy. Okay, you let them in there. Imagine the situation he's saying, okay? They're pregnant. They ain't gonna let you just evict them like that. Like the lieutenant says in here, she says repopulate and replace. And I have to agree. You are spot on with that, sister. That is a correct assessment right there because, see, we're trying to warn people now. In Jim Crow Joe Biden's America, this man has ruined this country. I'm going to tell you right now, people can say what they want to say. The facts are the facts. I have never seen a time in my life where this much damage has been done by one old, senile, decrepit, incompetent, white supremacist president in my life. This man got the borders wide open, flooding us with anti-black immigrants. Okay, they committing all types of crimes. You throwing taxpayer dollars left and right instead of putting that into the infrastructure and investing in America first. Okay, then you turn around here trying to put your nose in other people's business, trying to force Uganda and other African nations to accept the rainbow agenda. This man just wreaking havoc everywhere. Family, let me tell you something. You bisexuals, you put this man back in office. If you run back out here and vote for this man, don't you dare complain because you see what they're doing to you right now. We warned you that this was going to happen. Those of us in New Black Media Space, we told you that this is exactly what was going to go down. You had good brothers like Jason Black put out the documentary 7 a.m. Gentrified, okay, race war. Tried to explain to you a lot of these things. You heard Dr. Claude Anderson well before that warning you about what we see going on now with these illegal anti-black immigrants, okay? You've had other brothers and sisters over here, Brother Tariq Nasheed, steady warning you about these types of things. Brother Torian Rain, myself, many other brothers and sisters trying to warn you, hey, listen, don't keep putting these Democrats in office. They're cutting your throats. They're showing you in real time now how much they hate black people. This is the most anti-black version of the Democratic Party I have ever seen. If somebody asks you, why are you going to vote for them? What you going to tell them? For any of you that think that, well, okay, let's go here with it. What you getting out of the Democratic administration right now? You got the ski-weeze can't Kamala Harris in there. My vice president look like me. Yes, she look like you, but she don't give a damn about you and she don't identify with you. Every chance she gets, she tell you she's Asian. Those are her words. That's what, hey, she's black when it's convenient, but Asian when it comes to, okay, yeah, now that I'm in here and I got what I want from these niggas, I'm Asian again. You can't say that's what you're getting out of it. What you gonna say you got Ketanji Brown Jackson out of it? Think about this. A black woman married to a zaddy who before a hearing tells you she don't know what a woman is. Is that what you're getting out of it? Are you getting out of this administration, I don't know, some type of symbolic satisfaction from being patted on the head, yet while you see everybody else who didn't vote for these Democrats in large numbers, by the way, leapfrog you economically on the socioeconomic ladder, and these people are being given huge bags every time you turn around. Is that what you're getting out of this? Y'all better stop and think. You got plenty of time to make the right decision and look, what's the right decision? Because a lot of people can't think for themselves. Look, if you're not going to vote for anybody that has policies for black people, sit it out. Withhold your vote. People like to say this because you hear this from the older class, and I can't just put it all on the older people. You got some silly younger people that want to vote blue no matter who. Here's a question for you. Well, we got to vote for somebody because if you don't vote, what's going to happen? Okay, what happens when you do vote for somebody and they don't do anything for you? What's the difference between that and not voting? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You see what I'm saying? See, I like to make it plain over here. We warning y'all, family, that we don't have time to play. You better look at that link that I put in this chat room and see how much that illegal immigration is costing us in all 50 states. Those are 2023 numbers. I'm putting that in there tonight because I want all black people to have it. I want y'all to share that with other people because, see, look, when you see what's going on in your state with these numbers, you're going to be like, oh, hell no. This is something y'all, look, you can take that information that I put in this chat room and go down to your city council and be like, listen, we can't have this. Call your state representative like, no. I'm telling you, family, we don't get change by doing the same thing and expecting different results. We all know what that's called. It's called insanity. Let's let the good doctor continue.
This is a purge. This is a replacement. Joe Biden has a block party for the rainbow. Kamala Harris is working on the anti-Semitism 100 strategy bill. They got the anti-Asian hate. They got the anti-Pacific Islander hate. They got the anti-Native American. They got the feminist thing. They got the Ukrainian money. They got the Afghan money. They got everything except money for black people, accept solutions for black people. This is a takeover. I only got one question. New York and Chicago, are y'all going to sell out the rest of black America? New York and Chicago, are y'all going to sell out the rest of black America? New York and Chicago, are y'all going to sell out the rest of black America? Because if they take New York, the rest of us is done. If they can take New York and Chicago, we are done. So the question is, will New York stand tall? Will black New York City stand tall? Will black Chicago stand tall? Will black Chicago stand tall? Don't go for the okie doke. You will be evicted from your house and still forced to pay mortgage. You will be evicted from your house and still forced to pay mortgage, and they gonna multiply. Oh Lord, they know what they doing. They gonna multiply 50,000 right now, 250,000 in 5 years, 500,000 in 7 years, 2 million in 10 years. Oh yes. Y'all don't see what they doing to us? Y'all don't see what they up to, brothers and sisters? Are you trying to tell me you that politically undereducated? Is your third eye that calcified, New York City Africans? Is your third eye that calcified, Chicago Africans, that you don't recognize this is a political, physical, numerical, cultural, societal takeover? They are trying to destroy the two largest and most significant black cities in America, the two largest and most significant black power bases in America. They want to turn New York City into an immigrant town. Oh yes, rich whites and poor immigrants, no room for blacks. They want to turn Chicago into an immigrant town. Rich whites, poor immigrants, no room for blacks. Oh yes. They working on an America without the Negro. We're going to talk about it in Huntsville tonight. Oh, we're going to talk about it in Huntsville tonight. We're going to talk about it in Newark, New Jersey on Saturday. We're going to talk about it in Newark, New Jersey we're going to talk about it in Patterson on Sunday. We're going to talk about it in Patterson on Sunday. We're going to talk about it in Camden, New Jersey next Sunday. We're going to talk about it in Camden, New Jersey. Brothers and sisters, this is your big brother King Kong Consciousness. I only go live for one reason, to help you understand, overstand, and understand that we are at war. I don't go live to talk about gossip. I go live to educate. I go live to motivate. I go live to invigorate African people. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my continental Africans, my Caribbean Africans, Jamaica, I'ma see you soon. St. Croix, St. Thomas, I'ma see you soon. London, Paris, Brussels, Belgium, I'm coming. Black Canada, I'm coming back with my Black Canada Africans. Toronto and Montreal, we working on Black Canada. I ain't seen y'all since 2012. If you need to reach the Prince, 215-989-9858. And shout out to all my Brocktonian in Boston, Massachusetts Africans who came out last Tuesday. Shout out to my Brocktonian in Boston, Massachusetts Africans who came out last Monday. I enjoyed my Boston family. It was nothing but my Philadelphia family who came out at 23rd and Snyder. My Philly family. I'm with my Alabama family today, my Newark family Saturday, my Patterson Camden family next Sunday, my Williamsport, PA family on Juneteenth. Pull up to Williamsport, PA on Juneteenth. This is the Prince. Peace and Pan-Africanism. I'm going to tell you why.
So now, family, I let that play in its entirety without saying anything for a reason, because, see, here's the thing. I'm going to say this again in case you just joined us over here tonight. When it comes to global black unity, that doesn't mean we're going to agree on every single thing. We don't have to. No intelligent human being is going to agree on every single thing. That is not even realistic. But I'm showing you what Dr. Umar was saying here, because I have sense enough to agree with what I see that's going on. I 100% support the message that he brought to you and what I just let you hear there, because he's right. We do not have time to put this Democratic Party back in office. That will be the end of us if we do that. See, let me give it to you straight. You go running back out here in them same numbers to support Jim Crow Joe, and he get another 4 years to do this to us? He get another 4 years to do this to us? You see how bad it is now for us. Just imagine another wave of this, because he ain't going to stop. You think he going to finally say, okay, we put him back in there again. He going to finally get the black people. Family, listen to me. And I'm not talking to you here in the chat, because I know y'all got sense. I'm talking beyond those who are here in this broadcast, in case somebody just happens to find it and get to this part of it. What happened when you said that with Barack Obama? Well, we get him in there the first time, he can't really do nothing. You know, we can get him in there, and then, you know, then he'll get this. Okay, you got him in there again. 4 more years, didn't do a damn thing. In fact, he did more to harm us than help us. Them blue alert laws, a lot of this foolishness you see with the rainbow community trying to push all this stuff, he opened the door for all of that. He laid the groundwork for it. Did everything for everybody except for black people, okay? The only thing that you can say by looking at the numbers, now he was deporting these illegal aliens left and right. That he was doing. That's the only thing that he did that in a way somewhat benefited us. But see, it goes back to what I keep telling y'all about when they have the first black. You better watch out about that for 2 reasons. I'm going to say it again. One is that first black on code with other black people. And number 2, that first black, if he was handpicked, he or she, what are they going to push through that first black that they didn't want a white person to take the rap for? See, y'all haven't figured that out yet? A lot of this so-called black representation, your Eric Adams, okay, you Brandon, what's his name, the Chicago mayor up there, okay? They put Lori Lightfoot before him. Notice the policies that they push through these first black people or these black representatives. They do that because they're like, okay, when the heat comes on, we can say, see, that was a black person that did that. That's what y'all wanted. That's your representation. You better wake up, family. Better wake up. Got some more here I want y'all to listen to that the good doctor has to say, because, see, when it comes to global black unity, like I said, it starts with being on code and having the right mindset and recognizing threats. If you don't recognize the threat, you can't unify against the threat. Let's let the doctor speak.
New York and Chicago were targeted for the migrants. Bus loads of Latinos being bused from Florida and Texas all the way to New York and Chicago. Do you think this is a coincidence? Do you think this is a coincidence? Why would they bus thousands of Latin American migrants? Why would they bus thousands of Latin American migrants from Texas and Florida all the way to New York and Chicago? Don't say that, brother. Don't ever say being a black man in America makes you not want to live anymore. Don't ever say that. Don't you ever let your enemy make you wish you did not exist. Don't you say that again, black man. Don't you ever say that. Don't you ever let your enemy make you feel like you don't want to exist. Don't you ever do that. Because that's exactly what they want us to do. This whole campaign of black oppression and extermination is meant as a form of psychological terrorism. This is psychological terrorism. We are going through psychological terrorism, brothers and sisters. Keep your mind strong. Keep your mind strong. The essence of war is to make your enemy psychologically surrender. The essence of war is to make your enemy psychologically surrender. The essence of war is to make your enemy psychologically surrender, brothers and sisters.
And see what he just said right there? He's absolutely right, because see, understand something. The greatest weapon that any of us have is the human mind. You understand? The human mind and the spirit that motivates it to do what it's going to do. If you can break the psychological mindset of any opponent that you have, it's over. Once you break the mind, the body follows. You understand? See, this is why I agree with what he was telling that brother. You don't ever let yourself get to the point where you feel like you don't want to live or whatever. No. If anybody's feeling that way because of these circumstances, you need to understand our history again. This is why I keep talking about it. Our ancestors before us faced a lot worse than this. And the reason that they were successful against it, because they had sense enough to be on code. This was before integration. Integration weakened us. I don't care which person have a problem with that. It did. It weakened our economy. It robbed us of that. Okay, we gave that away. And then it weakened us because, okay, let's go here. The reason why you see the coons that you see today amongst our people is because of integration. See, they view close proximity to the dominant society as a reward. Okay. So now during integration, that's when those numbers start to skyrocket. The coons are like, ha, finally, I'm right next upon the master where I always wanted to be. You see what I'm saying? So now when it comes to us being united against the threat, it goes back to what I was saying before. If your mind is not geared to resist this oppression and it's more geared towards you submitting to it because you think that that's the way out or that's going to gain you some type of favor amongst them, again, I point you back to the eras of history. Start with the Jewish community. Look at the Holocaust that happened to them. Look at the Jews amongst them that betrayed their brethren and said, hey, I'm going to sell you out, so hopefully this will save me. And as soon as they finished doing that, they threw them right in the gas chamber along with them. That's what you get for being a traitor. You can point to several of the civilizations where this has happened. You can start with the continent. But those over there, like the Dahomey tribe that aided in the slave trade, after they helped them, they turned around and turned on them. There has never been a place on earth where you can deal with white supremacists and come out on the winning side of things. So let me tell you something, man. Salute to my good brother Black Voltron for saying this, because he said this on my timeline on Twitter earlier. You got two rules you need to remember when dealing with the devil. The first rule is don't ever do it. And the second rule is see rule number 1. You understand me? This is why we have to stress this to those that are coming over here. If you're not going to be on code with us against this threat of white supremacy, then there can be no unity. We can't unify with you when you want to tell us that, oh, we ain't no racism, you just making it up. And then you actually want to side with our prisoners because you think that that's playing the game. Y'all notice that coon phrase, all of them talking about playing a game, okay? You're not a smart nobody. You fooling yourself. Like Dr. Umar and many of us have said for years, they'll use you for whatever they can get from you. But as soon as they're done with you, they're going to treat you just like they treat us. You understand? So that's the point that I wanted to make here, because he's going to really get down on some things that, like I said, this shocked me to hear Dr. Umar getting this political about what's going on. So listen, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I can put aside anything that I disagree with him on as far as certain things with Pan-Africanism. When you talking like you got some sense, I ain't do nothing but support this part of your message. Just let the good doctor speak.
Don't you ever wish you did not exist. Because if you wish you did not exist, you now become an accomplice in your own extermination. God put you on earth for a reason. We live in this day and time for a reason. We are here for a reason. We were put in this time because we are the superheroes that we've been looking for. We are the ones. Our ancestors sent us for this day and for this time to solve this problem. Our ancestors sent us for this day and for this time to solve this problem, brothers and sisters. Let's move on. Did anybody notice that white teacher who got caught calling that black student the N-word will not be fired? I repeat, the white teacher, I forget which state, what state was that in? It went viral on YouTube. It's in Georgia. He will not be fired. The white male teacher who openly and blatantly called his black student the N-word to his face will not be fired. The school district has decided to transfer him to a white school district. The school district has decided to transfer the white teacher who called our son the N-word. He's being transferred to another school. Brothers and sisters, black lives still don't matter. If you make a rainbow joke, you're getting fired. If you make an immigrant joke, you're getting fired. He called that black boy the N-word out loud to his face. He is not being fired. They're transferring him to another school so he can call other black boys the N-word as well. I have one question to the black parents in that school district. Have you occupied the school board meeting yet? Because if you have not shown up and showed out at that school board meeting, I'm talking to the black parents in the school district where the white male teacher called that young brother the N-word to his face inside of high school. Called him an N-word in the hallway in front of the other students. All black parents in that school district, all black parents in that school district need to show up and show out and force his firing, force his termination. What y'all should do is pull all the kids out of school. Nobody's going to school until he gets fired. That's how you take care of that. None of our children are returning to school until he gets fired. None of our children are returning to school until he gets fired. But no law against anti-black racism. Not a single law.
Now, you heard what Dr. Umar was speaking on regarding that situation, because I saw that disgusting clip of that goofy white supremacist teacher. I'm going to call that demon what he is, calling that brother the N-word to his face. See, let me tell you something. I'm a Gen Xer. Teachers knew not to try that with us back then because we would stomp a mud hole in their ass. And the only thing that our parents would say is, hey, did you whoop his ass or her ass? I'm going to tell you that right now. See, the way they've geared the social structure of this society, a lot of black parents are not teaching their children about anti-black racism and white supremacy. And then you compound that with them trying to effeminize the boys, and they're trying to make the girls think that they don't need, male protection. They've screwed up the social order of things. And when you do that, you get confusion and chaos. And when you cause confusion and chaos amidst the people, that people is weak and able to be conquered. Okay. Now, I'm not blaming the young brother for how he reacted, because I saw that. But what I'm saying is, like Umar was talking about, the minute that happened, didn't matter if it was your child or not. All the black men especially should be like, oh, hell no, we occupying this city council meeting. Not only are you going to get rid of this damn teacher, strip this motherfucker of his license to teach anywhere. You shouldn't, look, demons like that, you shouldn't be nowhere around black children. You see what I'm saying? See, this is what we're talking about also when it comes to what's needed for global black unity, because unfortunately, you'll have some of the tether class, they'll look the other way on things like this. And even worse, some of them will sit up with white supremacists making jokes about black people and calling us the N-word because they think, oh, well, they're not talking about me. No, they're talking about your goofy behind too. And I've said it many times, when you allow anybody, any group to attack your children, that's an act of warfare. We can't keep playing with these people about that. See, we get that, okay? So I'm speaking about it in the context of people saying, well, we need to have unity. Okay, if you on this soil, unity starts with you helping us fight this beast over here, this white supremacist, all right? That's where the unity got to start. Once we see that you on code and you doing that, then we can talk about branching out and doing other things. You see what I'm saying? Because see, I got to say this like it is. Y'all know my policy on this. I don't fault anybody for fleeing a bad situation. That's common sense, okay? It's very bad. You're under a situation where your life is in danger. I understand you leaving. But when you do leave, wherever you come to, especially when you come over here to our nation, you need to be respectful. You need to be humble. And then you should be working with your fellow brothers and sisters that had to leave also to prepare to get yourself in an empowered state so you go back and face that problem. See, the answer to problems can't be running away all the time. You understand? Somebody got to stand and fight. I know a lot of people don't like it when you say that, but that's the truth. You show me one problem, family. Show me one problem that you can solve by ignoring it or running away from it. Sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with it. That's just a basic tenet of manhood, okay? That's life, but definitely about manhood. You can't run away from problems and expect them to solve themselves. Somebody got to stand and come up with a solution, okay? So see, if we're going to unify, we need you to adopt that spirit of resistance that we have long represented as foundational Black Americans here, okay? This is what we need. But I'm going to let the good doctor finish speaking on that because he's going to make some other important points here. Let's let him continue.
Against anti-Black racism. All this money for migrants. All this money for migrants. All this money for migrants. New York City has received 61,000 migrants since last March. New York City, the most crowded, overpopulated, largest city in America, has received 61,000 migrants since March of 2022. Why would you send 61,000 migrants to the largest, most populated, most congested city in America? Why? Why? You got Ukrainians gentrifying Black neighborhoods. You got Afghanis gentrifying Black neighborhoods. Chicago has received 8,000 migrants with many more on the way. Chicago has received 8,000 migrants, many more on the way. New York and Chicago are the two largest Black communities in America. You want to know why they bussing migrants from Texas and Florida all the way to New York and Chicago? Why can't they find another place for them somewhere else? All the states between Texas and Illinois, all the states between Florida and New York, all the states you got to pass. Think about it, brothers and sisters. Look at all the states you have to pass from Florida to Illinois. Look at all the states you have to pass from Texas to New York.
I'll tell you the best place to send them. Do exactly what they did to the Haitian immigrants. Load their asses up on some planes and fly them right back across the border to where they came from. I don't care who got a problem with that. That's the place to send them. Because, see, let's be clear, family. And I want you bisexuals that are listening to this on the playback to understand what I'm telling you. This illegal immigration problem, if they did that to those Haitians in a matter of 48 hours and got them up out of here, they can do the same thing with all of these that are coming over here. But see, the reason why they're allowing them over here, one, they're anti-Black, and two, they're going to allow them to be classified as white so they can try to get their little struggle numbers up. We see you, white supremacists. We know exactly what you're doing over here. Think back to that phone call, that Zoom call that was leaked when Jim Crow Joe was, you all are going to have to start learning working more with Hispanics now. You remember that? You remember that when he told us that? See, this has been in the works. They've been planning this for quite some time, family. Y'all better take a look again at that link to that file that I put in that chat room about the state-by-state cost of illegal immigration. You better share that with every Black person you know. that has some sense and that wants to understand exactly how much this is costing us. That's just on the financial side. Because see, when it comes to them targeting our children, we're already starting to see that. Need to understand this enemy if we're going to unify against it. And those of you who are not of foundational Black American lineage on this soil, this is what we're trying to tell you, okay? You can't have situations like what happened to our brother Jordan Neely, where you just stand there and watch them harm another Black person. We can't unify with that. We don't believe in allowing these people to mistreat us, okay? So now when we come back to this illegal immigrant situation, ask yourself this question. Is this what you envision when you cast your vote for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Is this what you envision? For those that did vote for him, okay? If that's what you wanted, hey, I guess you're getting what you want. But if you didn't expect this, now you have a chance to stand your ground and say, listen, nope, you didn't do nothing for us. You've harmed us. Everything has gone down for us, and you haven't looked with any type of compassion or solutions towards us. So we're going to give you what you gave us. Nothing. How is it that we understand that amongst one another if another Black person does you this way? And I got to go here with it. You know not to tolerate that. But see, all of a sudden, when it's old, decrepit Jim Crow Joe, you seem to think those that it applies to, the bisexuals, you seem to think that you're supposed to just be mistreated over and over and over again. Y'all better wake up, man. Let's let it continue.
Why are they bringing all these migrants to New York and Chicago? Philadelphia, we have 900 migrants with many more to come. Philly has 900 so far, with many more to come. They're targeting the 10 blackest cities. Negro removal. This is not a migrant crisis. This is a Black replacement crisis. If this was a migrant crisis, why not send them to states that don't have a lot of people? If this was really about finding a place for these migrants, why are they not going to North Dakota? Why are they not going to South Dakota? Why are they not going to Montana? Why are they not going to Utah? Why are they not sending them to these large white states with small populations? If you want a home, look at all that space out there in Montana, in Idaho, in North Dakota, in Wyoming, in South Dakota. Why not send them to the white states? Why are you forcing migrants into already overpopulated Black cities, brothers and sisters? This is a purge. They are purging Black power. They are purging Black politics. And they are purging the Black population. And they are purging Black programs. The reason they are targeting New York and Chicago, they are the two strongest Black political bases. They are the two largest Black cities. They need to dilute the political power of Black New York City, and they need to dilute the political power of Black Chicago. And I am disappointed in Mayor Eric Adams, and I am disappointed in Mayor Brandon Johnson. I am disappointed in Mayor Eric Adams, and I am disappointed in Mayor Brandon Johnson because...
And Dr. Umar, the other people that you need to be disappointed in is these goofy bisexuals that ran out there and voted for Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson. Can't leave them off the hook. See, what goes on in politics, unfortunately, in a section of our community in America, in Black America, okay, it's similar to the damn acts voting for the trees. And that's exactly what's going on here when you see that, okay? So we got to put the blame on who it belongs on, because when you aid in your oppression, that's a form of Stockholm syndrome when you look at it, family. When you take your emotions out of it and you start looking at the policies that this administration has put in place that directly harm Black people, and then you still have a group of people out here that's going to run to go vote for them anyway, What else can you call that but Stockholm Syndrome? Let them continue.
As black mayors, they should be standing up for black people. They should be saying, my money is for my city. I am not going to take money from black people and give it to people who are not even American citizens, who don't even like black people. These migrants are anti-African. These migrants are anti-African. These migrants, brothers and sisters, are anti-African. So not only are you overpopulating already overpopulated black communities, you are bringing in people who hate us. You are bringing in people who don't like us. Brothers and sisters, this is a purge. They're going to use the migrants to take all the resources, all the food, all the shelters, all the housing, all the jobs, all the medical, all the resources. The migrants are monopolizing the resources. $51 million. Chicago has 65,000 homeless black people. Chicago has more than 65,000 homeless black people. New York City has over 50,000 homeless black people. We have single black mothers homeless with children. We have single black mothers homeless with children. We got unemployed black men in half the black men in Chicago are unemployed. Half the black men in Chicago are unemployed. Half the black men in New York are unemployed. Half the black men in New York are unemployed. So how you got 51 million in Chicago, 51 million in Chicago for migrants when we have black people who don't even have their basic needs being met? And then in New York has 61,000 migrants, 61,000. And Mayor Eric Adams is using black people's tax money. Mayor Eric Adams in New York City is using black people's tax money to house in New York City hotels. And you know how expensive New York City hotels are. Eric Adams is paying for 37,000 migrants to be housed every night in New York City hotels. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. Eric Adams is paying black people's tax money. Eric Adams is paying for black people's tax money to pay for 37,000 migrants to be housed in New York City hotels. Lord have mercy. How much money is that every night? Can my New York City Africans tell me how much?
Look at that link that I just dropped in the chat room that I've been repeatedly dropping since the broadcast began, and you will see exactly how much money that is every night, state by state. Yeah, just let it continue.
Is Eric Adams paying every day for 37,000 migrants to be housed in New York City hotels every night? 37,000 migrants a night, and we paying for it. $51 million in Chicago. They paying for food, clothing, shelter. They have opened up the closed schools in Chicago. All them schools in Chicago that they closed down years ago, claiming they couldn't afford to keep open, those schools in Chicago have been renovated. They have been renovated, and now the migrants in Chicago are sleeping in the closed schools in the black community. How do you find money, Mayor Brandon Johnson? Mayor Brandon Johnson, what programs in the black community did you cut to give $51 million to Chicago migrants? You opening up the schools, they sleep.
And keep in mind, family, that $51 million that he's talking about in Chicago and all the rest of what you're going to see when you check that file out in that chat room, notice you don't hear white people complaining about that. But as soon as we start talking about reparations, oh boy, they all of them are on code at the same time. Oh, it's going to bankrupt the country. We can't afford that. Oh, but you can afford this though, huh? Yeah, I just want to put that thought back on your mind. We're not going to start talking about that in these new black media spaces. Let it continue.
In the schools, and you're going to renovate the schools so their children can go to school this coming summer. Lord have mercy. If you didn't have money for homeless black people, if you didn't have money for jobs for black people, if you don't have money for food for black people in New York and Chicago, how do you overlook American citizens? How do you overlook American African tax-paying citizens? How do you steal tens of millions of dollars from black people's tax coffers and use it for people who don't even like them? Brothers and sisters, this is not a migrant crisis. This is a Negro removal purge. They are replacing you and removing you with your money. This is not federal money. This is not federal money. Eric Adams is using black people's tax dollars. Brandon Johnson is using black people's tax dollars, brothers and sisters. Lord have mercy. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. And let me tell you what's going to happen before November of 2024. Y'all ready? If you think Joe Biden isn't going to cash in on the migrants, you're out of your mind. The migrants are here to replace the black voters. I promise you. I promise you. At least half of those migrants will be registered to vote by November 2024. Chicago, you're going to have a Latino mayor. New York City, you're going to have a Latino mayor. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They are purging us. Oh, yes. Chicago will probably have a Latino mayor in 4 years. And New York City will probably have a Latino mayor next term. Oh, yes. All these migrants will be voting in the next election to replace black power. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, they know you're not going to vote for them because they haven't done anything for you. They know you're not going to vote for them because they haven't done anything. So guess what they're going to do? No black vote, no black problem. No black vote, no black problem. No black vote, no black problem. We have the migrant voters. We have the migrant voters. We don't need the black vote no more. We don't need the black vote no more. We've already used the Congressional Black Caucus. We've already used the Congressional Black Caucus. We've already used the Congressional Black Caucus to exploit the black vote long enough for us to replace these Negroes with the Latino migrants. Oh, yes. And you wonder why Spider-Man was a dark-skinned Latino. Oh, yes. Spider-Man to the edge of the universe. That's exactly where they pushing black people, to the edge of the universe. Miles Morales, dark-skinned Latino. Miles Morales, dark-skinned. No disrespect to my Latino Africans. You are family. No disrespect to my Latino Africans. You are family. No disrespect to my Latino Africans. I'm talking about the anti-African Latinos who are now being brought into Black America to purge us out of political power, numerical power, social programs, and policy. Now, I want you to go back and watch that horrible film called Wakanda Forever. Now, I want every American African to go back and watch that horrible film, Wakanda Forever. Because now, when you watch Black Panther 2, you're going to know exactly what I was talking about when I did my Black Panther 2 analysis. Black Panther 2 was about what? Black Panther 2 was about what? Black Panther 2 was about what?
Keep in mind now, for those that think that Umar is just saying that to be saying it, I point you back to that portion of that Zoom call when old Jim Crow Joe said, and y'all gonna have to start learning to work more with Hispanic to make up a larger part of the population when y'all do. Well, he was sitting there talking to them NAACP Sambos and them civil rights Sambos up there like he was a slave master, getting them all back in line. And notice they didn't give him no pushback, not a peep. Al Sharpton and all the rest of them sitting up there with not a hair out of place on their head. They didn't speak up for us at all. Instead of telling him, listen, you made a promise to the black community that helped get you in office. You're not going to tell us that we going to come last. You're going to do for us now, or else we are not going to support anybody in the Democratic Party anywhere in the state. They didn't say none of that. They just got quiet. You also, Mouser. Keep that in mind now, so let it continue.
Latinos destroying and taking over Wakanda. Black Panther 2 was about what? The Latinos coming to Wakanda, destroying Wakanda, taking over Wakanda, and that's exactly what's happening in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Houston, and I even heard that they bringing migrants to Atlanta. Where my Atlanta Africans at? Where my Atlanta, Georgia Africans at? Y'all better get ready, Atlanta, because they about to bust up black power in Atlanta. They about to bust up the black population in Atlanta.
Let me go ahead and tell y'all something right now. He might think that, but this Republican governor ain't gonna have it. Ain't gonna have it. You'll see them here or there trickling in, but as far as what you see in these other states, I'm telling you right now, if they attempt that here, y'all gonna see exactly how hardcore white supremacists these rednecks here in Georgia are. I'm telling you right now, because see, it's because the rest of them have that agenda where they want to bring them in and assimilate. These jokers down here in Georgia are on a whole nother level. They are purebred white supremacists. They ain't trying to hear it. So a lot of y'all think, oh, well, they'll just run from Florida to Georgia. Okay. I tell you what, just wait. That ain't going to work out so hot. So now, because even if they tried, they're not going to stay here long. Trust me. Let's let it continue.
They about to steal all the black programs in Atlanta and give it to the migrants. Everywhere there's black power, everywhere there is a strong black population, you're going to be bust up with the migrants. And now, since there's going to be more Latinos than black people, they don't even have to include us no more when they talk about national resources and national distribution. The U.S. Census, that don't even matter no more. It's white, Hispanic, gay, and immigrants. I'm sorry, whites, Asians, Hispanics, gays, and immigrants. Whites, Asians, Hispanics, rainbows, and immigrants. Black people don't even matter. See, the rainbow flag does not include the color black. That was a metaphor the whole time. There's no black on there. All these groups have been working together to displace and replace American Africans. All these groups have been working together. Asians, Caucasians, rainbow gangers, Latinos, and now immigrants, and they have perfected the plan. Mayor Brandon Johnson, Mayor Eric Adams, it's not too late to stand up for your people. Mayor Brandon Johnson, Mayor Eric Adams, it's not too late to stand up for your people. I want you two brothers to go live and tell President Biden, I will not steal from my black constituents to take care of your migrants. I will not steal from my black constituents to take care of your migrants. Black people elected me to be their mayor. I have no right to steal their money. I have no right to steal from black people and give it to anti-black Latino migrants. I cannot do that. I will not do that. I have 50,000 homeless black people in my city. I have millions of unemployed black people in my city. There's no way I'm going to steal black people's money and give it to anti-black Latino migrants. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want you starting trouble with them. The enemy is the power structure, not them. But they are anti-black. So we need to be very careful around them.
Now, that's the one point of contention that I'm going to have to speak up on. If they are anti-black, which we've seen, yes, the hell, they are the enemy. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Now, that's the one point of contention I have. And see, it's important to call these things what they are, because when you deal with a threat, you have to identify it for what it is, not for what you wish it was or what it could. No, whatever it is, call it that. Anti-black, yes, you are the enemy. If you hate me and my people, you are my enemy. You damn right. Okay? You damn right. And we're going to do what we need to do to protect ourselves from that too. Let's let it continue.
We need to keep our children away from them. And make sure you are prepared in case they decide to attack our community. We must be prepared. If it happens, we need to be organized. And let me say this to all the gangbangers in Black America. Let me say this to all the black gangbangers. I'm talking to all of you. Many of you support my work. I've heard from many of you through the years. I need the leaders of all the black gangs in America, Chicago gangs, Los Angeles gangs, New York gangs, Philadelphia gangs, all the gangs. Y'all have to organize and politicize yourself. You can no longer be an enemy to your community. We are at war for our survival. And we need the gangs to start looking out for the black community like y'all used to when you were first created. We need all the gangs in the black community to start defending, protecting, and looking out for the black community, because most of you were founded to protect the black community, not to hurt the black community. We're going to need everybody. We are going to need everybody. We are going to need everybody. It is a war on Black America. They hitting us with diseases. They kidnapping our women. They killing off our elders. They shooting our women and children through the door. They got Chinese people killing black kids in the back. And we still don't have any anti-black hate crimes law. President Joe Biden, where is the anti-black hate crimes law? President Joe Biden, where is the anti-black hate crimes law? Kamala Harris, where is the anti-black hate crimes law? Where is it? Because you're not going to charge that snow bunny who killed AJ with federal hate crimes law. Y'all not going to charge her with the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. Y'all not going to charge that Asian with the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. Y'all not going to charge Rick Chow with the federal hate crimes. Y'all not going to charge, what's his name, Andrew Lester, who shot Brother Ralph in the head in Kansas City. Y'all not going to charge them with an anti-black hate crimes. We need black legislation to protect black life. You got 100-point anti-Semite bill? 100 ways to stop anti-Semitism. 100 ways to stop anti-Semitism. And you ain't got a single law against anti-black racism. The Emmett Till anti-lynching bill is weak. It has no teeth. It's multicultural. The federal hate crimes bill is weak. It has no teeth. It's multicultural. We need an anti-black hate crimes bill. Where is President Joe Biden? Where is the Congressional Black Caucus? Where is President Joe Biden? Where is the Congressional Black Caucus? Where is the NAACP? Where is the Urban League? Brothers and sisters, we are at war. I really don't know what y'all voting for next November. I really don't know. I need a black person to give me, can somebody please tell me? Black people are voting for what? November 2024? Help me out. I need somebody to tell me why I should go vote in November 2024. Somebody help me out. We are being replaced in front of our face, brothers and sisters. Please remember the words of the most honorable Frederick Douglass. Please remember the words of the most honorable Frederick Douglass, who said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. The limits of tyrants is prescribed by the people who they oppress. If black people want to get free of oppression, we must pay for that freedom. We may pay with our words, we may pay with our lives, we may pay with our blood, but we must fight. No struggle, no progress, Black America. No struggle, no progress, Black America. It's not vote or die. It's organize or die. It's not vote or die. It's organize or die. It's not vote or die. It's organize or die. Hit my phone, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. International Africans, add me on WhatsApp. International Africans, add me on WhatsApp. Peace and Pan-Africanism.
So now, family, you heard everything that Dr. Umar Johnson said. I know a lot of y'all that stayed in here to hear this, you probably were very surprised at the rhetoric that he was using. See, this lets you know, just because you have an ideological difference with someone, it doesn't mean that that person, there's nothing that you can agree with them on. You see what I'm saying? See, that's a part of having unity to a fact. And again, let's make this clear. When you're unified with somebody, doesn't mean you're going to agree on everything. But the most important things, the things that you saw, that I showed you here in this broadcast tonight, that Dr. Umar spoke on, everything that we were talking about here, these are things that we have to take serious, okay? We cannot afford to make the same mistakes over and over. Yes, we know there are some amongst our community, they just gonna keep on doing the same thing because they don't really care about black people or black people's future. But for those of us that are on code, for those of you that did go out there and vote for this demonic Democrat administration, you have a chance to do the right thing now. Because see, family, let me tell you something. If this happens again, where these people run back out there and vote for these damn Democrats, you're going to put black people into the state that Dr. Claude Anderson have always warned us about. You're going to make us a permanent underclass. And then at the end of the day, you can't turn around and say that nobody from the community didn't warn you about what was happening here. We've been warning y'all for years now. Too many of us, okay? Men far wiser than myself. That's been doing this far longer than me. Been trying to plead with y'all, trying to show you information, trying to tell you, hey, listen, don't keep doing this. But yet, Democrat, white Jesus. Those two combined, boy, you just can't wait to put your Sambo boots on. So family, brought you this information here tonight. Salute to everybody that joined us, everybody that contributed to the broadcast. As usual, after the broadcast, I will put your names on the community tab. Let me know before we leave here tonight, does anybody else need a copy of that state-by-state financial breakdown of the cost of this illegal immigration? If you let me know, I will put this in the chat room one more time. Just let me know if you all need it one more time. Give me a thumbs up, because see, if you want that, you can take that, print you out a copy of it. If you go into a city council meeting, okay, you can put that information in front of them and say, listen, no, this is what you spending on them. Don't tell me what you don't have for black people. Get in contact with your state representative. Do what you need to do, okay? I'm gonna put this document in here one more time. And see, I want y'all to keep up with this. Go straight to page 44 if you really want to just start seeing all the numbers, but it is a complete breakdown and a report on everything that's going on with all this illegal immigration. Somebody got to make sure that when they come back around asking you and talking about your vote, hit them with these numbers. See, that's what we need to start doing. Policy and numbers. Policy and numbers. Policy and numbers. You understand? Feelings don't have anything to do with it. We talking hard math and policy. That's what you got to hit them with. Voting is a business transaction. And if you wouldn't work for free, you shouldn't vote for free. So with that said, family, I hope everybody got something from the broadcast tonight. Salute to you. Black first. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you all in future content.